What's up, people? Welcome to the Juice Opinions is Loose podcast. Let me make sure my mic's not muted. It's not muted. Um, yeah, we missed last week and gonna miss next week, so I think might just make this a every other week podcast moving forward, especially when there's not like anything major to talk about. Everybody's kind of doing stuff these days, but we'll keep getting together. I figure if we stop doing the podcast, the friendships might fade away. I'm afraid. What's up, Rohan? But T, Retro, and Terrell should be joining here in the next few minutes. So yeah, I just figured I'll talk instead of making you guys wait. Um, Basically, for me, like Tears of the Kingdom has been my gaming life since, when did it come out? Um, May 6th or something. And I have really no interest in playing much else. I have no interest in Pikmin 4 at this point. I downloaded the demo. I haven't played it. I'm not looking forward to any games the rest of the year until Super Mario Wonder. Like, that may or may not be the next game I buy, or at least a new game. So it's just crazy for me. I'm so content with Tears of the Kingdom. Now I have beaten the main story. I have 170 plus hours. I'm still. I have like 50, almost 50 side quests yet to find. I know I missed some. I know I missed Hetsu's first quest, but I'm just like, where are these quests at? Like I'm searching, doing all this exploration in the depths. Well, happy birthday, Rohan. I'm doing all this exploration in the depths, trying to find, going all the Yiga clan hideouts. I'm using the path of the hero to show me where I've been. Going to all the mines I missed. I think I got all the clothing. Pretty sure I have all the clothing from there. I didn't buy any like the earrings from the Gerudo, like the topaz, diamond, and all those. I haven't done much upgrading. It's really hard to come by resources, so I'm just so content. It's so relaxing. Like, I did go through some withdrawals this weekend. I tried not to just keep playing. I was like, oh, let me watch some movies. Let me watch some TV shows. What's up, Lenny? And I was so used to having 4 or 5 hours a day set aside, especially on the weekends, I mean, to Tears of the Kingdom, that honestly, I was kind of bored. I watched a couple movies each last couple weekends. I watched some episodes of The Expanse. I watched did I watch any other shows? I think I did. Yeah, I'm watching Lost Girl. I'm rewatching that. It's an old sci-fi low budget show, but and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed. It's 9 o'clock. I'm just gonna go to bed because normally I'd be playing Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm trying to wean myself off it. And it was just kind of a weird few days there after I beat the game, which I'll talk more once everybody's here. I'll give my thoughts on, no spoiler thoughts on the ending and the story and stuff. But yeah, it's just weird. And like I said, I got the Pikmin 4 demo downloaded. I have no interest in booting it up. I did start Sackboy: A Big Adventure on the PS5, and that's I finished World One. It's not called World One, but it's what I call it. And actually, really good game, solid game. Enjoying that. So, other than that, I've just been watching a ton of movies. I've been buying, like, trying to buy a couple Blu-rays or 4Ks every week, and sometimes I don't. And then I like the last time I ordered movies, it was like 5 movies, and I'm getting them dirt cheap, like 6.99, 9.99, maybe a 12.99 here or there. So I picked up the Little Mermaid. I've never owned. That's one of my first Disney movies I ever saw. Definitely at the theater. First crush was Ariel, so I picked that up, the Blu-ray, and then I got Independence Day right before the actual 4th of July. The 4K version was like $12. I got Heat on 4K for like $6 or something. Um, Isle of Dogs stop motion animation movie. Great movie, and can't think of the other one right now. And I've just been watching a lot of movies. I watched the Dungeons and Dragons, the new movie last night on Paramount Plus, and it was okay. It was talked up pretty high. Very MCU humor. Every moment of that movie was a setup for a joke, even the serious stuff. But what Tears of the Kingdom Anonymous is needed? What is? Oh yeah, like yeah. I need to have sit down and talk about my withdrawals and stuff. The game's so good. I haven't put Breath of the Wild in since, and I'm curious how I feel about Breath of the Wild going back and the visuals, the gameplay. Just Hyrule because it's so different. I'm still confused by some of the locations and the layout of Tears of the Kingdom Hyrule versus Breath of the Wild. Um, but man, it was a good game. So I'm just hoping. I thought somebody would jump in by now. Ms. T finally watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, so he held his thoughts to himself. He's going to reveal those tonight. I'm actually more excited to hear his thoughts on that movie than I was to watch the last Nintendo Direct. So I'm really curious what he's going to think. What's up, Jay? Still waiting for T, Terrell, and Retro Death. They're running behind. Thought I'd just jump in and chat with you guys. I'm trying not to talk too much about Tears of the Kingdom that I finished. Terrell, he finished Elden Ring on Saturday, or at least he beat the boss. So congrats on that.
E
Did you like? I didn't watch
what?
the last stream I watched. You were still like just burnt the tree. So
Yeah.
there's like the snowy area, which I thought was a pain in the dick. Not a huge area, but still thought it was pretty tough. And then there's like the what is it called? There's a back entrance. I don't know if you got to where you come down on these giant tree branches filled with these freaking ants, and it was so hard. It was the hardest part in the game for me.
I don't think I went that
You had
way.
to find 3 keys or something to unlock that. That's the secret entrance. I don't know the other way to go. Um,
Oh, you mean like the two tablets, the two halves of the tablets, and then
well, there's one.
it's the
There's a tablet for a lift, but there's another secret entrance in the south of the snow area. It was a side. It might have been related to a side quest.
yeah, because I
Yeah,
don't
because
think I
it
went
was
that way.
Melania's. It was like her relation, the girl you meet. Yeah, I don't think you. I don't remember you meeting her, but
No,
she was
I
poisoned.
know.
She was poisoned, and you killed in the swamp or in the red swamp that boss you struggle with. He dropped
Yeah.
a golden needle, and then you talk to a guy near there, and he fixes the needle, and you give it to her, and you put it inside her, and it cures her of the rotten flesh, and then you run into her throughout the world.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, there's a back door entrance there, and you're on this huge tree branches, and there's these ants and these other ridiculously hard enemies, and I got my ass kicked. But anyway, how many hours
Yep.
did it say on your save file?
99.
Not
I was.
bad, not bad. Shouldn't have took
Yeah,
you
I was.
6 months, but when you
Hey,
only
listen. When you're only streaming the game and only doing maybe some all-screen grinding, that's kind of what happens, unfortunately. But I'm glad. I appreciate you gifting it and me playing it. It was definitely worth those 6 months. That is an experience.
seemed like you're pretty excited about beating that asshole boss, because that
Oh, I
I
was
had
very
thought I had
excited.
no chance. That I'm like, how am I gonna beat this? I took everything I had to get to the past the first phase.
The first phase is
That dude
frustrating,
annoyed me.
absolutely, but like the second phase almost seemed impossible when I first got to it because I'm like, this motherfucker's all the way across the map, and I have to just do all of his shit
Mm-hmm.
the whole time.
And you stuck
And
with the two-handed big sword the whole game.
dude, I was dedicated. The only thing I think that, I'll be real with you, what saved me in these last couple fights, I would say, starting with Malekith. I think that was the first. It was I went and got the mimic tier. I feel like if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have beat it nowhere near as quickly. it would have been like at least another 10 to
Mm.
20 hours. I feel like, because God, especially some of the fights that come right after it. Good God, like the first Elden Lord, man, what the fuck? We're sitting here. I'm thinking we're playing Dark Souls. He's like, nah, we're playing WWE. I'm like, what the fuck? And
There's the
why
black.
has this man got command grabs? What the fuck?
What
Sorry, go
about
ahead.
there's like the Black Blade
No, that's
dude?
Malkoth.
That's
That's
Malakoth.
Malkoth.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
motherfucker was hard, man.
that was the one that really walled me. I think that walled me almost as bad
Look at all
as
this red on the screen right now.
God. I'm about to say it actually did bleed. We playing it, baby. It's Switch Squad in this bitch. Sorry,
Yeah,
but
that
yeah,
that's just one of those fights where you just make no progress and then finally just all of a sudden you beat him. Like, what the hell? I went from not even
the,
be able to touch him to I beat him.
the first phase isn't too bad. It's that damn second phase because this motherfucker gets this wide range of attacks. This motherfucker has moves that go at least halfway across the
Yeah.
goddamn map, and I'm like, bro, can I get a dodge? Nah, fuck you. You're dead. I hated that fight. Uh
But the
but it's
rewarding feeling when you beat him
oh,
was unmatched.
I was feeling some type of way when I beat that motherfucker. I was like, let's go.
I'm like, I like being like knowing my character's a badass and I don't have to worry about dying. Like, I shouldn't die. Like, my character at this point in Tears of the Kingdom, I shouldn't die again, and I didn't. I beat him my first try, but it does kind of take away that sense of accomplishment when you've struggled for hours
It's
or multiple attempts and then you finally beat a boss.
it's a trade off. That's the way I look at it. If you want to feel like the badass you are, that means the boss fight is gonna feel easy. Because if you're a badass, you don't ain't nothing really. You ain't concerned about a goddamn thing. But the trade off is exactly the feeling of accomplishment you get when you grind out a boss. You learn the patterns, you figure out the tails, you know when to dodge, and you hit that motherfucker in the back of the neck, and his ass goes down. And you just like, yeah, it's a feeling, bro.
I
It's a
never
whole
died during
mood.
I didn't never died during a boss fight in Tears of the Kingdom. I died facing Lionels and Gleelocks and those hands, but a main boss, no, never even close. That's the Zelda way. Like that's always been the case. They never really had tough boss fights. Even when I refought them multiple times, I still never died to that flying thing from the Wind Temple. The 3 other times I fought it, but it's still I don't. It's not the point of the game, you know. That's just like a, you know, it's a small part of the experience. Whereas the Souls games, the boss fights are the experience to them. That's what they spend all their effort on. That's why the boss have so many different move sets, so many crazy animations, you know, unique. You might refight a boss once, you know, there's certain types, but anyway. I finished Tears of the Kingdom in 170 hours. And who said it? Visor? No. Who said the boss fight was disappointing? Yeah, Visor. It wasn't disappointing. I thought it was cool. And I won't give any like details about it. All I'll just say is it felt more like a boss fight for the move set of a Souls like character. Like it felt like they thought you were playing a Souls game, but without the move set of a Souls game. So it to me, it's the first time in between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, I really felt like the combat system was clunky or in need of evolution because Ganon's he doesn't. There's really no warning of his attacks; they just happen, and it's very hard to parry and dodge when you don't know what's coming. And so I really struggle. I used a lot of health and stuff to stay alive. So I guess a complaint would be if you're gonna have a boss fight that style, you should have the combat system that fits with it. It didn't quite fit for me. It just made Link's dodging feel very clunky and limited. So, but it was a cool fight, and the very final moment for those that have done it is really cool. The story, I was happy. I was satisfied. With the overall story. Yeah, whoever was here previously saying that you don't get any Ganon backstory, yeah, you don't. if you were looking forward to that, this game doesn't deliver. You get nothing more than the cut scenes like we talked about last podcast. There's 7 out of the 18 feature Ganondorf, and then the final confrontation. There's some cut scenes with him, so he's not the focus. Maybe a missed opportunity. I don't know. I guess when you guys beat it, you can let me know. And now we got T in here. What's up, Retro?
You. I had you muted for the whole time. I didn't listen to any of that shit. I don't want to hear that stuff.
I literally said I didn't give any spoilers whatsoever. I was just saying how Link's move.
Too little information for me. Like too many. I just heading towards the Gerudo Desert. I just started doing stuff there. Absolutely loving that stuff. It's gonna be like another 100 hours before I go finish the game. Like I'm not there yet. I'm at like 180 hours in the game now, I think.
You haven't got last video I saw you post. You didn't have that many hearts either, so I don't know.
I'm at 17 hearts, I think, but I still have about 16 shrines open that I just didn't beat yet because I got fucking sick and tired of all the naked shrines. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do these like later when I feel like doing shrines and stuff. So I could get at least 3 to 4 more heart pieces.
I found because of the depths, I didn't struggle to find any of the shrines because the light routes are pretty easy to see.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I had 2 left. I knew where they were, and they were both set on shrine quests that didn't set off your shrine sensor, and they were very one was very tough to find. There was a cave system not quite near it enough where it took a while to find it. And then I didn't read the note that activated the quest, which I looked it up. I said, why am I missing a shrine quest? I have all the shrines. And I just had to read a little notebook in the cave, and it started the quest. Obviously, I already completed it, but all I was saying is Link's moveset felt a little clunky during the final fight because the moveset of Ganon's was so different that it kind of highlighted Link's limited moveset in comparison with the style they went with. And I feel like now that I've obviously finished that game in Breath of the Wild, I think if they're going to do another similar style game, they need to evolve Link's moveset more than just that little side dodge. I mean, the Flurry Rush is cool, but if you don't land the Flurry Rush, his dodge is pretty much useless.
There's a man sitting on his bar and shit.
But yeah, it was quite the story, though. I can't wait till you guys finish it and talk about it. I thought it was pretty incredible. Was it some soy sauce?
Some sake?
I was going to guess sake, but I was like, it ain't sake. But yeah, I started Sackboy, too. I know you've been playing that. Man, Sumo Digital.
I love that game.
They did not mess around. That game is freaking hard in the first world. I had quite a few struggles. Level design is solid. My only complaint is the same complaint I have with almost every other 3D platformer, especially all the Sony ones, is the characters is very slow. At least Sackboy has a more expansive moveset, but it's still, they just give us a little more freedom to do more in the environments, play around a little bit, not have to go by the exact way they think you need to get up somewhere. Like you
gotta get used to like the double jump dodge roll move and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it gives
but
you a lot of freedom
the double jump's more of a float. You can't really get you up high. There's no
but
wall
like
jump.
You double jump and then you dodge in the air. It kind of gives you like a big ass jump like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit there. Like I said,
double jump, the B tier platformer shit.
I will say, out of all the non-Mario 3D, I mean it's a locked camera. It's more like Kirby's Forgotten Land. It's up there as far as the non-Mario ones. It's 3D World too, but 3D World let you move the camera in most areas. You could at least shift it slightly. This is completely locked. But I would say for me, I wasn't expecting much, and it was free. Well, as part of the PlayStation Plus, the basic one that I have.
Hey, it's better than Sunshine.
I mean, solid. Like honestly, it's the best non-Mario platformer I think I've played.
Well, damn.
So far through World 1.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's really good.
Compared to like
playing it co-op also.
Compared to like Ukulele, well the newest, the second one. Yeah, I
prefer the
didn't. Like,
first
like I
way
said,
over
I
this for
didn't say
sure.
this, but I haven't. It's not like I've played all the Spyros and Crash Band. Like I have, don't
I'm gonna say
usually.
there's a lot of platformers you probably missed. So
But I will say they went towards where I like the challenge aspect and the replayability is I feel it. Like man, I want to go back and I got to do better. Like I want to get the.
Go do the high score trials that you unlock and
I've
stuff.
done those.
Like,
I didn't see your guys's, so
I'll show you our times. Like, you
I
ain't
don't
getting
know if you
close
got
to
to hit a button.
that.
ooh, challenge.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's not that hard.
Oh, Robert and I went back and forth. If you see where we landed up as of now, the first three we did it and stuff. Like, trust me, you're gonna be like 10
Well, it
seconds
took
apart
me
from
2
our time.
tries to get gold on the first one, and on the
Well, yeah,
second,
you can get gold, but
yeah,
that's not mean you got
on the
like
second one I got
get it
gold the
from us.
first try. But I think it's a solid game. It was not expecting to like because I didn't like Little Big Planet at all. So, but
It sucks.
I just that to me was a crappy 2D platformer.
Uh,
I hated that you would jump and if you were holding the analog stick wrong, you might land in the background or foreground that you didn't want to.
is that thumbnail for me?
I don't even know what it picked.
It's like Donkey Kong beating Mario up on the movie.
I was just going through all my old photos, but yeah, I've been dying. I kind of want Terrell to be here. He took a phone call.
Everybody's waiting on bated breath to hear my
I'm just
thought.
like, because you gave no indication. You didn't even tell us you watched. You said you were going to, but you didn't say, "Hey, I watched it."
Yeah, I was saving it. I know what I was doing. I was saving it for the podcast.
And I'm just like, oh my god, like, am I gonna? Is T gonna make me
Oh,
the only
Terrell's in
one?
now.
All right, why don't you just go ahead and reveal our setup because some people might have known you didn't see it till last
Yeah.
night.
All right, so basically, I didn't see the Mario movie after anticipating it like everybody else forever. I don't know what happened. Just that time period, that month and a half, it was just bananas for me. So it just never worked out because I wanted to take my family, and it just never worked out to where we could all go at the same time. So I ended up just waiting, and then all of a sudden, it's out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it came out
Now I'm
quick.
yeah, it was quick, and because I think that's a Paramount thing. Is it Paramount?
It's a Universal.
Universal. That's a Universal thing where it's like 45 days or something, and they go the digital.
Well, usually go digital. It
Um,
didn't. It went buy it on digital, but I don't think you could rent it until it came out on
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
they have some nuance. They change it up here and there, but it usually starts at 45 days, and they figure out what they're going to do after that. So I was like, it's so late, I might as well just wait to watch it on digital and or on Blu-ray. And so I was in that time period. I was trying to set up my home theater. As you guys can see, the screen still hanging down there. If you didn't know, Juice hooked me up with his old projector. We had one. It's pretty crappy. It's not the best. Didn't pay much for it, but so I bought one from Juice. Very nice Sony. What is it?
It's a 1080p. It's a three chip LCD.
3-chip LCD. I guess I forgot that it also does 3D, which is awesome.
I thought the 3D was good, so I'm wondering why if their screens supposedly need to be made with 3D in mind, but I can't imagine it would make a difference. But
no, I don't think so. It was pretty good. I mean, like I said, I had been doing PSVR 3D, and that's pretty good. So it just didn't like blow me away
doesn't
over
have
that.
quite the pop that you would think, like coming out of the screen, but.
Right, it didn't have quite the pop, but it was still pretty nice. But anyway, so I put it in. Had my wife and kids come down, and then I think within like 20 minutes, my daughter fell asleep. My wife started to fall, and she left at about the 35-minute mark or so. I'm like, it's only a 90-minute movie.
It's half over.
Like, you guys are kidding me. Come on. So that bothered me. But I will say, because I've had my initial thoughts based on people I trust that do reviews for movies and whatnot, and I was in the camp of there's not enough story. I thought Miyamoto's influence was in there because he's not the biggest when it comes to story and stuff. And so my idea, I kind of went in thinking that, and because I trust these certain people. I don't trust everybody when it
Should
comes
have
to reviews.
trusted your boy,
But I
man.
trust these certain people. Hold on, you starting to do a
Chill
victory
out,
lap.
just
Even
let
Robert gave it like
him just let
B
him talk.
minus
Let
or
him
B.
talk. All right.
The first 20 minutes, I was like, holy shit. What are they talking about? There's oodles of story. Mario has, kid or not kids. Mario has a family. He's like a huge family. This is not in the game. This is the backstory I'm talking
Terrell,
about.
what
To
did I say
extend
my
this
favorite
story.
part was of the
Well,
movie?
the beginning. Yeah,
The
beginning.
first 20 minutes is
Yeah.
also my favorite part because right after that, all that stuff kind of goes away and it just becomes like you're kind of going through the motions. And Mario shows up in the Mushroom Kingdom and he just automatically wants to help and knows what to do. And he didn't automatically know what to do. Obviously, did the obstacle course thing, which we saw in the trailer, so that's no spoiler. None of this stuff just really landed, and I was like, and then you get, it's a quick movie, like it's quick, and you get to like the Mario Kart, and me and my son, we're enjoying it. Like we're pointing out stuff. He was surprising me on some of the stuff. I didn't know he knew so much stuff about Mario. He was surprising me. He's more of a Zelda kid, and he was pointing out things. I was like, he pointed out something I actually forgot. He pointed out Spike, and I'm like, Spike's that kind of weird turtle creature that throws things or is hanging on things all the time. And I'm like, oh wait, Wrecking Crew. He knew Wrecking Crew, and I completely forgot. So that's completely Spike from Wrecking Crew, which it was awesome. And so, like I said, the things that I talked about that people jumped on my head, mainly Retro Deb and Jason, who's not here, clocked it, jumped on my head about, turned out to be kind of true. It's still my thoughts, based on again what people I trusted thought about it. That it was almost there. It did it in the beginning, and it just kind of left that stuff alone and became like a normal kind of run of the mill story. And it went through. Visually I loved it. The pacing was pretty good. I wish they would have put more in. So overall, I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I was hoping to love it. So, yeah, basically, that's kind of my thoughts on it. It was good, just not great for me. Some nice callbacks. We had fun with that, but again, I feel like if you're not a Mario fan, if you don't know the certain lore stuff, that's the kind of stuff they needed to let people who aren't Mario fans know about. Like, get into some of that stuff. I mean, it's 90 minutes. You had some time. You could have spent another 15, 20 minutes, and you could have really gotten to some of that stuff and, explain the Fire Flower, explain the Tanuki suit, explain some of that stuff,
Yeah, I watched, not that reactions. I mean, I already had seen the movie. And they were like, maybe it was a review. I know Grace was an idiot about that, but someone's like, why is he in a whatever furry suit? Like, it just made, if you didn't know, you didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fine. I need to rewatch it, but Peacock just pulled a thing where they just like, I've had it free with my Comcast Xfinity forever, and now they made almost everything locked behind a premium version, and I have a feeling a lot of the movies got switched to that. So I was planning on watching on Peacock when it hit. There's still no confirmation, but now I'm gonna have to subscribe.
Yeah, well, I've seen commercials that says coming soon, but I don't know. They didn't say when. So
Sally said shallow film. Lenny Wright says wish the whole movie was the Mario Brothers struggling to get their plumbing business. I know that wouldn't have been very fan friendly, but that was actually.
I'm not gonna say I wish that, because that wouldn't have been, because you want Mushroom Kingdom. That's Mario.
You gotta have Mushroom Kingdom for sure.
I think we got enough of that. And they kind of went back to it at the end, obviously. But I just wanted more. I wanted similar stuff in the Mushroom Kingdom to that stuff that we got in the beginning with the Mario's family and stuff. They hinted at, Peach having this backstory. I'm sure they'll explore in the sequel or something. I hope.
I
But
love that they added that.
that was cool. I thought that was pretty cool. And, those in the know, that's something that's circa 2007. That's not like beginning of Mario lore there. That's basically, we're basically talking about Mario Galaxy stuff there. So I thought that was cool.
It's little nuggets
And
like
speaking
that.
of Mario Galaxy, that Luma had me dying.
That was so good, man.
The Luma had me and my son were like, "What is wrong with this Luma? He's insane." That was great stuff.
And I like the nugget like that, like Princess Peach. Like I was saying before, like, yeah, I guess maybe they don't need to show the moment Bowser fell for Peach. Maybe that's not important, but I thought they could have.
Yeah, I didn't care that.
I thought they could have explored that a little bit.
I wish they would have explained why he loved her.
I felt it came out of nowhere.
Bit.
Knowing the story, I still felt it came out of nowhere. But Samson says they got room to build on the second one. My worry is they'll go more into the fast-paced. Let's just get.
I didn't even think about it until you showed me the how it should have ended video. Until I watched that and I was like, oh no, what if? Because they made a little comment about you don't want to make it too. Basically, you don't want to make it too intricate for the little kids with little short attention spans. Basically saying that's what Nintendo was thinking. They were worried about kids with short attention spans, so they didn't put too much deep stuff into it. And if you look at the box office,
it worked.
They did pretty well. So that's my worry all the time when it comes to Nintendo, that they learned the wrong lesson. I feel like they learned the wrong lessons with Wii U and 3DS by not giving us stuff like Miiverse again and some of that other stuff that we thought was cool. No Street Pass. Like Street Pass was awesome. Like how cool would Street Pass be on the Switch? And so I worry that they learned the wrong lessons. Like, oh, well, this clearly is what worked. Instead of thinking, well, maybe we should do something a little different or add a little something because maybe this won't work the next time.
Well, the problem, my worry is Illumination's track record with sequels is absolutely horrendous. They don't have a good sequel, period, in my opinion.
I think they have okay sequels, but they never have sequels that
even
are
like Despicable Me, for me, it was like amazing. I love that movie. The second one is like, what is this? Like, it's barely watchable for me. I can't stand it.
I don't hate the second one, but it is weaker. It definitely is weaker.
It's weaker for sure.
That's what I'm saying. They never have a sequel that's better than the original.
And that's hard to do.
It's not just Illumination though. In general, that's the rule.
I feel we should just trust the fact that
it's the rule.
In general,
it's
that's
not.
the rule.
Shrek 2 was pretty good.
It's not in general. Illumination.
When it comes to animation, absolutely.
Shrek 2 was worse.
No, I
Shrek
think
2 was
better.
a better movie.
Yeah, I think it was better. How to Train Your Dragon 2, I thought was better.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 was a better movie.
In general, always.
The biggest concern.
Frozen 2? No, I'm playing.
No, stop. The problem.
Toy Story 2 was good.
Toy Story 2 was.
Yeah, Toy Story 2 is better. I would say Toy Story 2 is better. All I'm saying is the biggest concern when Illumination even was the one that we found out was doing the movie. My first thing was like, oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, because Illumination doesn't have a good track record in general with films, let alone sequels.
But I would say the Illumination stuff in Mario movie actually was good. I would say that worked.
That's because they didn't go full like fart jokes, fucking
right.
Like,
but that's what the sequel is the worry about with the sequel.
Oh, absolutely.
But we gotta take into account also. That's why I'm not really worried. Like Nintendo is definitely hands-on on this stuff. They're not letting them like full reign do whatever they want. Like Miyamoto is full on there, you know.
Did you not hear my rant about worrying about Nintendo learning the wrong lessons?
Yeah, like it's a good. That's a good and a bad thing.
Yeah,
hey, you're talking to the guy who always says Miyamoto is ruining all these games these days, man. I'm the one who always saying that. Stop Zero, all that garbage.
Then you should be more worried then, not just me.
Yeah, because now he's not creating games. He's just like story.
They're not going to take 7 years. I mean, they spent 7 years on that movie with such little thought to the story. I guess it won't matter then.
I honestly think that movie went through a couple like.
It's just 7 years. You have to take into account the beginning, like the deals. And
they don't have to redesign Mario. You know, they don't have to spend the time redesigning everything. The main stuff,
of course.
Casting and all that.
My guess is that it got rebooted maybe 1.5 times or something as far as what the idea was.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I very much. I think because I don't. I don't want to
that
act
kinda
like
stuff.
they didn't have the idea to be extravagant. I think they got paranoid about being extravagant.
Probably got worried.
Well, we know they
Probably got a
trimmed
little
at least something from that first trailer. I thought.
Oh, absolutely. They
Oh,
they were like, let's just keep it. I'm like, if you want to keep it simple for the first movie, fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
But the second movie is not going to have that same luxury in any way, shape, or form.
They did.
Just think of like, for me, it's like, think of like Back to the Future. Back to the Future was a pretty straightforward story. Kid goes back in time. It was an accident, obviously. Screws up his basically his coming to be, and he has to fix that. That's basically the story of Back to the Future 1. Back to the Future 2 is batshit insane. Like it is insane, and I love it. It's probably my favorite one. Yeah. I love it that it said, all right, we did that. Now let's go fucking crazy. Let's make Biff the president. Let's do all kinds of crazy shit. And I love that. And that's what I hope happens for.
I didn't love that.
This. What?
I like
crazy,
1 and
crazy.
3 way better than 2.
I like 3, but
Three,
I don't like 3 as much.
3 is too safe. It's too safe.
Still...
They went back to. You know what it reminds me of? We talked a bit about this kind of on Twitter, Retro. Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom is my favorite fucking Indiana Jones movie because it is batshit insane. And then 3 goes back to being kind of safe again. And that's why it's probably my least favorite. People love Crusade. I'm like, I like Raiders and Temple of Doom way more than Crusade. But I like the fact that it's crazy. It's got dudes ripping out hearts, and they got the mine cart and all that shit. Like that's
it's a better
bridge.
adventure.
It has so many different crazy things going on in it.
I feel Back to the Future 3
story.
It's like T says, it's safe. They made 2, which is crazy.
I love the Western part of it, though.
I love that. I love it too.
The third one, they're like, we can't attach any of this to 2. We went way out of line. It's crazy. Let's just do something random. Let's put them in the Wild West. It's completely unrelated to anything. Like, I can't stand that movie.
Yeah.
Like, no way. When you have 2 takes the principle of 1, but then gives the villain the power. That makes it so good.
We got hoverboards. We got flying cars. We got all
what I
cool
felt
shit.
like.
2 is you got the Nikes with the automatic laces. That shit was cool.
To me, it felt like all the actors were like, all right, we know this movie's a hit. Now I'm going to crank it up to 11. And just felt so forced to me. I just watched it.
It didn't feel forced at all.
Every scene, I was like, what is this? This is, I would say.
I enjoyed
I loved it. I
enjoyed the show, too.
Yeah. Anyway, I watched Dungeons and Dragons, which ain't exactly a video game. It's,
it has been video games, but yeah.
As a gaming room.
I think it's the most blatant MCU style ripoff, like movie style ripoff movie I've ever seen since the MCU started. Every single moment, serious, all this people dying is played for a joke. The entire movie, nonstop. Now,
can you blame them? It worked.
It works. People were praising the movie. It has some of the coolest visual effects sequences I've seen in years, like decades. Like they told the VFX team and the directors were just like, we're going to do some cool shit. And they did it. But my God, anything serious gets immediately killed by a joke. It's just like people die at the end. I'm just like on my phone, like I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know there's gonna be a joke. I know I'm just like, I just don't care anymore. And it's long. It's like 2.5 hour movie. It felt like, not terrible, but I'm glad I didn't buy it. I was almost gonna buy it because I heard such good things. I was just gonna buy the 4K and get the Steelbook for like $38. I was like, you know what? It's on Paramount Plus. Let me check it out. Decent, but I maybe watch it one more time in my life if I can. If I ever feel like it, but yeah, Chris Pine, I like him, but he's kind of playing the same character. He sounded just like his Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. It was the exact same character, same delivery, and he's just kind of become that guy now, where he's just doing himself in every movie like Ryan Reynolds. So, yeah, okay, but. Yeah, just no depth to any. Nothing really matters. Nothing that happens.
Was it better than the original?
I was gonna say I like the first movie, but it's gotta be.
I know you do. I know you do.
Seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
You
Trash.
absolutely hate it. It's technically
Don't watch
real
it.
garbage.
It's better than the last Mortal Kombat movie, that's for sure.
Man.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you mean the new one? I haven't seen
The
it. I don't
newest
know.
Mortal Kombat movie that came
Oh,
out
the
in
newest
I like that
2020.
movie. I like that new Mortal Kombat movie, man.
I would say if you love the MCU, you probably love Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, they even took.
I didn't love it. I liked it. I thought it was good.
They even took a dragon sequence and made a joke by having a big fat dragon, like obese dragon.
I think I have
roaming
that in the
around.
trailer.
And I'm just like, I was kind of looking forward to a cool dragon. I didn't know anything about the movie other than people were saying it was really good, surprisingly good. So,
Well, the expectations were super low because of the first movie. That's why.
yeah. And that was like pushed to the VOD right away and streaming right away. So, and then I've heard people
Yeah, it
say
didn't do well.
some people saying Indiana Jones is really good. Other people say it's all right. So, it's not like a hate.
Oh, the new one?
I haven't heard anybody say it's terrible, but
Well, the complaint I keep hearing is it's dour, and the appeal of Indiana Jones is that he's this roguish dude that's cool. He goes on these adventures. He's also like a fucking college professor, and all his students want him and shit. Like that's the cool appeal of Indiana Jones. What do you do when he's elderly? like how can you make him appealing when so they basically took all, I don't want to say they took the fun out. From what I hear, this is again what I hear from pretty reliable sources, is that it's like, oh, let's make him down on his luck. So basically nobody gives a shit about Indiana Jones, all his adventures. He's kind of in like he's basically in a rut in his life. He's a has-been.
Sounds like the new Star Wars.
Yeah,
right.
like
And that was my worry. Kathleen Kennedy is the producer on this
she
shit.
got fired, didn't she? Finally, from the
No, did she get fired? I don't think she got fired.
That maybe it was fake.
I'm sure it was the fake news headline, because she's under contract through the year, and I think they're just gonna not renew her contract to make her save some face. Because it's one thing to screw up Star Wars, because that wasn't really her thing. But supposedly Indiana Jones was her thing. That's where she made her name.
People are saying that they think she got fired, but it's not confirmed.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised, because there's some ruthless firings going on. That's ESPN. They don't give a damn right now at Disney, so they'll get rid of everybody. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
but,
some things just should be left alone. Like they filmed the Crow reboot. It's filmed. They're in post-production.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
it's done.
The dude who played it, I think, is the guy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they filmed it. It's done.
He's the Crow?
Yeah. I don't know when it's coming out.
What? Come on.
There's some shit you just shouldn't touch.
Yeah,
man.
Bill Skarsgård.
One of those.
There's probably a time period where it would have been okay. Like, all right, bring back the Crow. I care. Who gives a shit in 2023, 2024? Nobody cares anymore at this point.
It's like bringing back like The Craft. After
you're talking 30 years at this point, bro. 30 years. One movie.
Did they bring back The Craft?
Yeah, it came out like 2 years ago. The Craft.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, I thought they did.
And nobody
It
cared.
was some kind of teen movie or some shit, I thought.
Well, the first one was a teen movie.
But it was still a dark movie.
They made it a teen movie. The first one was still pretty dark.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Rupert,
dark,
well, the director is a director I really love, Rupert Sanders, who did Ghost in the Shell and I believe Tron Legacy, if I'm not mistaken.
Of the Crow? Oh no.
He's doing the Crow.
Tron Legacy.
Oh no, he did
no.
He did that surprisingly good Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell, which I like both those movies, honestly. I thought he did another one.
Really? I'm not a fan of either one of those movies.
Really? I like both of them. I thought he did something a little more successful.
I'll say this. Nothing from those movies tells me he has the sensibilities to do a Crow movie.
Well,
nothing.
It's filmed, so it's supposed to be out this year at some point. So we'll see.
Robert isn't here, so welcome to the movie.
Well,
podcast.
Robert's at Mission Impossible, which I almost considered skipping the podcast to go see because There's
Oh,
so
wow.
many freaking movies. They're coming out on Monday just to try to squeeze it in before Oppenheimer and Barbie comes out on
Yeah.
next Monday, which is weird.
Because you're gonna make sure to get premium screens.
You know,
Because
remember when I joked about the Mario movie launching on Tuesday and they counted that as the opening box office? Well, now movies are open on Monday. That was my joke. They're just going to open on Monday and say and go from Monday to Sunday and say a new opening record for opening of a movie.
Right, which is some bullshit. Some bullshit that is. Well, all right. I'll be right back. 5 minutes. I gotta go grab my wife.
All right. But hey,
That sound like domestic
You gotta go
violence.
grab my wife.
I gotta go pick her up. I'll be right back.
All right.
so gaming related, anybody going to pick up Pikmin 4?
I started the demo. Wait, the actual game came out already?
No, it's
No,
coming soon.
it comes out in 2 weeks.
I didn't even.
I started the demo.
I couldn't
of
even
it.
bring myself to start the demo. I just don't care at this point. Right now.
It's so at least you gotta try the demo. It looks so fucking good. It looks so good.
I'm not in a hurry. I haven't really delved into Zelda as much as I wanted to, so that's gonna be kind of my focus for the rest of the summer.
That's why I didn't finish it yet. Yeah, Zelda is still like right up there.
Yeah, like I'm not. Pikmin can kind of wait. Honestly, that's why I wasn't tripping too hard about the rest of this year in terms of games, because I was like, bro, I need to play some fucking catch up. All right,
There's some major games coming that came out.
Yeah, but like, good God, I need a little bit of a break. The good news is the only other one I already pre-ordered, because I still had that other voucher I used from Zelda, is Mario RPG remake, but that's not until like November, so I got time.
So you're not getting the Sonic game built for the ground up for the Switch?
Oh no, that one doesn't have a
for the
release
Switch
date
or not?
Sonic game built for the ground up.
Well, it's the lead platform.
We see listen, it technically doesn't have a release date yet. It just says fall.
But you get on Switch. My question.
I don't know. I haven't decided. The problem is when you have an Xbox One or Xbox Series X, is what I should have said. I'm sorry. Same difference. No, I'm just lying. I debated it. I was like, I need to buy more games for this thing. So I've been trying to buy games for the Xbox. And
that's the
really
saddest part. Like I have no games. They have no games. I should just.
I don't have any games that I can only. The only other game I wanted to play this year was probably Hi-Fi Rush. So
you're not interested in Final Fantasy 16?
No, it's not. You mean Devil May Cry 6? No, I'm good. Look, respectfully, I'm not even saying it's bad. I've heard good things. It's just right now I'm Gucci. I want Zelda to be the focus for like at least the next couple weeks, and then when I finish Zelda, whatever's around or out, that'll kind of pick up, because like
are you gonna stream Zelda?
No, oh hell no. If I stream Zelda, it won't fit. It'll be another 6 months. We're not fucking doing that. I'm playing that on my own time.
Yeah, because I have as much time in Tears of the Kingdom as I did in Elden Ring, and I did a halfway through a New Game Plus on Elden Ring.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so I have 170, between 170 175 in Tears of the Kingdom, and I had like 170 in Elden Ring last time I looked. So, yeah, it's not built from the ground up, but the Switch is the lead platform for the Sonic game.
Yeah, they very much have. I mean, that makes sense. They make. I think Sonic makes the most on Switch. I mean, on Nintendo platforms in general. That's why Nintendo tends to get more like exclusive Sonic stuff. It happened on the Wii. Hell, it happened on the Wii U to the detriment of those games, because fuck Sonic Boom. But that's a whole other issue.
Frontier definitely wasn't. Switch wasn't lead platform. There's no question.
But Frontier's been a good game. They had that birthday update come out, and that was cool as fuck. I'm glad they're supporting Frontiers, and I'm glad to see that they're not forgetting 2D Sonic. Right now, I'm in a good place with Sonic. Like, I enjoyed the fuck out of Frontiers. I'm in a pretty happy spot with Sonic right now. And the only other major release I think would be, the only other thing I would want to kind of play is Spider-Man, but I don't have the console for that, nor do I care to buy it for just that game. So I'm not in a hurry for
that's
Spider-Man.
one. That's one you'd pick up when you get a PS5, but you're not gonna buy a PS5 for it. Some people,
Yeah, pretty
might,
much.
but
Exactly.
I don't think
Uh,
I don't think it
and
justifies it.
I'm gonna leave that Starfield to y'all. I'm Gucci on that Starfield. I know people are so fucking excited. I'm just like, I don't know, it did
Honestly, I
enough for
know
me.
T's not here to combat this, but I got bored just trying to watch the direct. Like
Oh
I'm
no,
bored watching people talk about the game more than likely I'm gonna be bored playing the game.
That's because you were never a fan of open world games, specifically because of those. No, I can understand that he doesn't care about it because
right.
those are the kinds of games that steered Jews away from the open world genre in general before. So I totally understand.
No,
He's like, I
well,
don't give a shit
Grand
about
Theft
that.
Auto steered me away in Assassin's Creed with the stupid here, go to this spot, there's your mission. That's the stuff I didn't like. I never really paid much attention to the oh, there's so much stuff to do. We're gonna put all this stuff that you can do to your characters. Like I like finding new outfits in Tears of the Kingdom. I like finding new weapons and stuff, but just they go too far. I feel like you really have to convince yourself or get sucked into that. Like you're the character. See, I don't feel like I'm Link. I've never felt like I'm Link. I don't want to have to get that invested into a character. Like Cyberpunk could have used a little more depth to it. The world itself was cool looking, but I think that game could needed more. But Starfield's just like there's just too much in here. Like Horizon Forbidden West, they add this chess like game. I never learned it. I never play. I tried it one time. It forced me to for a side quest. I never touched it again. There's other games that put like Witcher has a board game in there, The Witcher 3. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff, but
I usually like that kind of stuff. Like Final Fantasy VIII had like a really cool card game and that kind of stuff. I like that stuff. The things that I hated was like what Final Fantasy X did, where you got like the blitzball shit. I never played that for a fucking second. It's such a waste of time. That shit. Like,
so
don't add like a whole full ass game inside a game.
yeah.
You don't like more content? Is that what you're telling
just-
me?
some of it just feels like it's not deep enough to be its own game, but it's almost too deep to be a side distraction in a game. And it's like, yeah, they needed to just not include it at all, in my opinion. I feel that about the one in Horizon. Like, I didn't spend much time with it, but why did they waste time trying to make a game like that in that game? It just feels weird to me. But I was Sandstorm was posted or on Twitter. He reacted to somebody talking about Xbox 23 to 24, and the list of games, there were some laughable ones on there. You never know how genuine these people actually think they're being, but I gotta find.
I think most of them are trying to convince themselves, but I mean, they've been trying to convince
It's
themselves for like 10 years
coping.
now.
It's a coping mechanism. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Bro, listen. Xbox got all the games, bro.
All right, so
we got Viva Pinata.
if Starfield's not for you, here's till the end of 2024. So it's Indiana Jones. Can't really see that.
Damn, that's
Perfect
crazy.
Dark. Two games
shit.
we have no idea those are going to be out in 2020. Elder Scrolls 6.
Dark.
Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to be out in 2024.
Hey man, you don't know
Elder
that.
Scrolls 6 is
Todd
gonna be a
Howard's in
fucking-
the building, bro.
PS6 game.
Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be 2030, some shit
Or,
like that. They
F-
literally set themselves as they're not going to start it until like Starfield is done.
So Avowed and Starfield. Avowed's look pretty likely. State of Decay 3, no update. Have no idea. Fable. They didn't give a
Nor
year.
would you care.
So Forza we
State
know
of
is
Decay
coming
is
out.
waiting for the power of the cloud.
Listen, State of Decay 2 was some dick. Like, I don't know why anyone's like, man, I can't wait for State of Decay 3. The fuck?
Senua's Saga, I feel confident in 2024. Contraband. All we saw was a CGI trailer last year. Who knows?
Why is that
Everwild.
on the list?
Everwild's
still a
not
game?
coming out. Fallout 5 this person put on here. That's not even announced.
Oh, make believe. We making up games. We ain't even got games that have ever been. Fallout 5 ain't even been announced. We just making up shit
Outer
now.
World 2, I think, has been announced. That's a smaller.
Yes.
But they're working on fucking Avowed. You think Outer World 2 is going to be out within the same time frame as Avowed? Get the fuck out of here. Like,
You saying it's not? You don't know, bro.
so for
You
me,
don't know.
with Starfield for sure, Avowed more than likely, Senua's Saga more than likely, Forza for sure, and those four
I mean,
are the only ones for sure I'd say I know are going to be out by the end of 2024.
You think Senua, man, when they come back from Iceland, maybe?
So
Yeah,
everyone, that
are you-
clock tower,
How excited?
the clock,
I was like, how-
whatever. We
how-
saw like
how-
a in-engine cinematic. Like, you have no idea when that could come out. It could be out early next year. It could be out in 2025. You don't know.
The problem is that all Xbox gave you during their like presentation like a month or so ago was promise. Like, hey guys, we're showing promise of some titles that are coming this year and next year. And I'm like, okay, cool. But why would I believe you though?
Even Phil
That
said,
list,
Phil
that
said
list
don't believe.
alone,
you've lied to me multiple times, Microsoft, openly actually, and then was like, well, we got some gameplay for you, and we're gonna give you Xbox players exactly what you deserve. What do you mean, like
These
nothing?
people do put like Fallout like 5 on there and not even like Fable. I mean, come on, man. You're gonna get Fable before you're gonna get
Fable
Fallout
was on
5.
there. It was on there.
The problem
But
with
that
Fable,
ain't coming out till, I mean, maybe 2024 that'll come out.
The
Dude,
problem
that
with
whole-
the problem with Fable is that Fable right now, we didn't even get a date for that game, right? We only think we
No,
got
I
a
don't think
year.
they put a
You're not
year.
gonna get that for a while, man.
So that game we just know it exists, and we know that they got CGI cinematics and like
And an ugly,
somewhat
and
looking
an ugly
type-
character. We know.
Good God, she looks like sin. Like someone took a frying pan and smacked the shit out of her.
T's
with
not
it.
here again, but when he hopefully gets back, we can talk about this. Here's my stance on ugly characters. I don't care if that's the character you design and it fits your game. Who cares? But if I see an interview and they say, "Well, we wanted to make a real woman or a woman that represents real women in the world," then fuck you. Because all they did it for is goddamn patting themselves on the backs because they're curing cancer now with video game stories and characters. If they're like, if
They're curing cancer.
Rings of Power did it, it was so disgusting. I mean, not literally felt ill, but just ridiculous. I was like sickened by the human race listening to them talk. And just do it. If that's the character you want, that's fine. I'm not saying they're going to, but if they're in interviews and you get all these people talking about, we wanted our character to represent, we want women to play the game, feel like they're being represented. If that's your reason, to me, that's the wrong reason. Make the character you want to make and don't try to, cater to, what do you call it? Like trendy political, hot topic stuff. That's my
I don't think you're wrong, but that's easy to say when 99% of video game characters look like yourself. It's just a little easier to say these
no,
things.
we're not doing this. No.
It's a little easier to say that. That's all I'm saying.
No. Well, at least for the example we're using with Fable,
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
No. Just to give, I just want to put context out here. They for some, I feel like people were like, well, why are people getting so angry about this? Nobody, listen.
There are weirdos that are mad about it.
No, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with that statement, but they're acting like, man, why are people roasting this character for how ugly she looks? I'm like, because people don't like ugly shit. Like if I'm playing a video game, I want something nice to look at. Okay, I'm not fucking. Why is the environment look beautiful? The fucking world looks grand, but my main character, who's supposed to be a normal human or elf or whatever the fuck, looks like she just got beaten with a frying pan. It's a little disrespectful.
For the record, I don't think she's that ugly.
That's a weird take too.
Hey man, I'm
like
a
I
weird
said,
motherfucker. I'm 100%.
It only bothers me when the creators or somebody who created that character goes out and is like patting themselves on the back for all this political hot topic bullshit. Let's just make the character. You don't ever have to talk about it. Unless somebody asks you.
What's
I guess
political about a girl being the lead character and she's just looking average as hell? What is political about that?
It isn't until they're like, oh wow, we wanted to make our character feel like a real woman. I'm saying if they do that, that's when they lose me. Rings of Power did that like I've never seen before in my life. It was so disgusting. It's like just The Expanse has one of the most diverse casts of not just races but nationalities, people from all over the globe with that different accents and all this and I've listened to hundreds of hours of podcasts with the creators. Never once Did they say,
I
man, we were just really diverse. We wanted to make sure that we had a strong. They just talk about the show and they wrote characters and they cast characters. They never once even mentioned it. It's like because you shouldn't have to. I feel like the people who mention it are just trying to get credit for doing something instead of just.
I look like they're millions of light years in space, and the dominant accent is Caribbean. I love that shit.
Yeah, and it's just like that's how if
they didn't tout it, they just fucking did it.
Imagine if the Predator came out back then and they're just like in the interviews, man, if you don't go see this, you're against diverse casts and stuff. Like that's what bothers me. Just make your movie, make your characters, make your casting. I don't care. Just don't.
Well, you say that, but even when they don't mention it, they still will get fucking slaughtered. They still get slaughtered, regardless of mentioning it or not. I agree that they shouldn't mention it.
Yeah.
But they still get fucking, called woke or whatever bullshit somebody comes up with.
I think it's people are just so.
And it's crazy to me because I've seen shit like I remember there's a scene in fucking one of my favorite Bond movies, GoldenEye, where fucking M, who's played by Judi Dench, by the way. So they gender swapped M. Nobody gave us shit. Nobody said a goddamn thing. They gender swapped her, and she fucking emasculated him that first meeting they had.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody gave a shit. It's just oversensitivity of today. Right? And if you don't play into it, like you said, some of these studios and whatnot are playing into it. Just say fuck it. Don't respond. Just do what you want to do. And that way you don't fucking feed into their bullshit. Just make what you want to make.
And there was no pressure to make M female and have her be. I think that was just what the writers thought that would be an interesting dynamic.
It was like, Judi Dench is a fucking badass. She's an amazing actress. We want her to be M. And that was it.
Yeah.
So that's all you got to do.
It's just the motivation behind it to me just is the game changer. Like, I don't care as long as you're not sitting there trying to act like I said, curing cancer, like in some of these red carpet interviews. And have you seen the ones where the one person
do that when they don't have anything? That's all they have is the identity shit. Well, when you don't have a great movie, you pull that shit out of your ass. Like,
and then you see the interviews where they group two cast members together, and one's like spouting that bullshit, and the other one you can just see on their face they just want to be out of there. They just want to be dead. They'd rather be dead at that moment. And that was
be dead.
And it's like that's when you know, like they know they don't.
You're watching them die inside, as that stuff's being said.
Yeah, the Rings of Power. It's some of the most cringe stuff I've ever seen in my life. And it's like
you're halfway there. You got a great IP. You got an audience of people that are paying attention. Everybody's gonna, people even people who don't love it are gonna act like they like it because it's the IP they love. So you're halfway there. Just don't make a pile of shit, and people will like it.
Yeah, you think people have been complaining about, a black dwarf? If it was an amazing show and it was like just great,
nobody would care.
I don't think. Some people might try to make.
Well, yeah, some people will because they said that shit about House of the Dragon.
But they're not going to get millions of subscribers off of making videos about a show because of how the nonsense. But anyway, let's get back to video gaming.
You guys talking about movies the whole time I was gone?
No, we were talking about Xbox.
No. You came back at the perfect time.
Oh, okay.
Somebody posted about like the schedule, the supposed schedule for Xbox till the end of 2024, and they had Fallout 5 on there. Like...
Bitch.
It had Elder Scrolls 6 on there. Like, get the fuck.
I like
those games are both 5 and 6 years away. Get the fuck out of here.
I like the default was just the word bitch. Like, how dare you fucking waste my time?
That's when you know,
statements.
like, just like
who's making that list?
It's like when you know you don't have. It's like when somebody tried to bolster like the PS5 exclusive, then you put The Last of Us Part 1 on there last year. It's like,
come on,
that doesn't stop it. That doesn't count. Like, to me, I didn't even forgot it was even a game. Like, I never thought of it when I thought of 2022. In retrospect, I never think of it. It's just weird to me.
If you're putting Indiana Jones,
yeah, Indiana Jones was on there.
Like it should be on there because it's probably going to come out within that time period. But you don't know shit about that game.
It might be absolute garbage too. You don't.
It could be garbage. Like none of the Indiana Jones games, even the good ones, are like, oh my god, that was a great game.
Like Contraband was
why-
on there. That had a CGI trailer last year. Heard nothing about. Have no idea what it is. It might be amazing, or it might be a very shallow, like free to play. You don't know. I'm just saying. You have no. I guess if you know the studio, more familiar with their past, you might.
Yeah,
have
I think
an
that's the
idea.
thing with. Well, excuse me. We just had a situation called Redfall, so
Yes.
you can't count on the studio name anymore, or even before Redfall, you had CD Projekt Red. So, studio that's not enough. You got to see what the game is before you start doing all that stuff.
That'd be like. I mean, I'd be pretty confident in Mario Kart 9 and the next 3D Mario, but if I was like, oh, just wait till the next 2 years of Switch, 3D Mario, like that's just nonsense.
The reality is that I think a lot of people need to be real about it. A lot of the issue that like Xbox has is that they've not had a lot of goodwill behind a lot of their releases. So when you see this list of games that they're talking about and touting about what's coming out, I'm like, okay, cool, that's nice, but I need them to release. I need at least a good, like the first 3 of them to release and not have any fucking
Starfield,
problems.
Forza, and one like another big
We need
one
like
early
yeah,
next
like
year.
I just want like it's the same thing I say with Nintendo. Like it's like the same thing I say about Nintendo and third party. I'm not going to just automatically trust you got third party support just because a fucking Batman Arkham City Armored Edition comes out. Like you got to give me a consistent string of stuff before I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not even worried anymore.
They said they had an unprecedented partnership with EA. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like because
Well, it's like the Borderlands.
Because as you know, T, words don't mean a goddamn thing.
Not a goddamn thing.
You gotta show me content before I'm out here like, all right, I'm pre-ordering like a motherfucker. Here's my money.
They did the Borderlands collection, and some people thought that might be Borderlands 3 was coming. No word on Borderlands 3. I mean, it's been over a year. I don't know if it's in 2.
No, unfortunately, the Switch is like third-party support is essentially, and all those games you missed in the PS3 and 360 era.
Right, that's what you're getting.
Hey, here are those. Like, what the fuck?
And I'm mostly fine with that because at least I know they'll run well. You know, like I'm cool with that. I was always cool with that.
Yeah, like I'm not mad at it because the Wii missed a lot of that shit. Those are IPs that never touched Nintendo consoles. I'm glad they're on the Switch. But it also doesn't make me then all of a sudden go, bro. Yeah. The next Arkham game we get, it's coming. It's definitely gonna be on Switch.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Maybe you'll get Borderlands 3 on the Switch too. And I don't think anybody wants the Suicide Squad because that looks like
no. But like when I look at Xbox first party games, I'm like, the fact that someone put State of Decay 3 on there, like that was something to be excited about.
That's a win right there, baby.
The last game, dog, was such dog shit. What are you excited about?
Some cell phone shit, bro.
Yeah, you gotta earn that praise. Like you gotta earn that excitement.
Oh, Crackdown 4 is coming. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
People just
2 isn't great, and then 3 was just a joke.
Exactly.
You don't care about 4? Get the fuck out of here.
Xbox had a nasty string of just not having quality games come out. You get those 1 or 2 hits, or those games that they bought the studio of, and the developer had just finished making the games like Ori or fucking Cuphead. I mean, and Hi-Fi Rush, I will say, is a genuine. All right,
I believe that's a good game.
They didn't give enough shit about that game to put it on a disc. Fuck them, man.
That was a weird. That bums me out because I'm like, bro, why did you take the one good game people were like, oh, this is a great game. You should go buy this game. No physical edition. No, like pre-launch hype or anything. It's just here you go. All right, Xbox, what the fuck is what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm cool with they self-launched it or whatever. But, say a couple months later, we'll have it on disc, like everybody else is doing nowadays.
Yeah, give it a chance to, shine, I guess is my thing.
Yeah.
If because if people fuck with it, they'll go buy the physical edition.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I have free access to that game. I beat the game,
And,
but I'll still go out and buy the fucking disc.
and here's my thing. I don't want us to wait like 5 years and go, oh yeah, we're just. I'm like, where's the sequel at? What the fuck? Like, why'd you do
Vaporware.
this? Well, see, Xbox needs to cultivate some IPs and like if you put out a good game and it sold well, make a fucking sequel. Like, don't do this
Right.
weird shit where like we just get this one game and then we never see it again.
And announce
Yeah,
that shit.
You see how
Right
Nintendo
away.
fans act when we don't when that
Yeah.
happens to us. So like, learn your fucking lesson. I don't know. I think Xbox fans really want the next year of Xbox to be great. And
Oh,
I'm
Xbox
not-
fans, they don't care about physical games. I'm learning that because
Like
I
at
listen to their
all?
podcasts. They don't give a fuck. They
Well,
make
they
fun of
want-
people. They make fun of people who care about physical games still. They don't give a damn.
Why?
So,
Why don't I understand?
I don't know, bro. I don't know what that shit
That's
is.
a
That shit is
weird.
strange.
That's a weird argument. That's like you
That's a
fucking.
strange flex.
The fuck you got that damn disc in your hand? Put it down.
Yeah,
Put
that's
it
a
down.
strange flex. It's almost like, you know, when people will like defend something just because their company is not doing it, so they'll defend that thing
Mhm.
that's not being done on
Just
their.
like,
You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
with
feel like-
crossplay. Remember what happened with crossplay?
But the Sony dudes, it's the best place to play over here anyway. We don't need to play with anybody else. And then when that shit came, they all playing. Like, they don't give, it's bullshit, right? So that's what I kind of feel like that's what is going on a little bit. Like, because I think if the game came out on disc, they wouldn't be against it, right? Like that
Yeah,
would be stupid.
there's no penalty to you as an
But
Xbox fan.
but they're against people being mad that it's not on disc. And that's just a strange, that's a strange
if
place
a
to be
game I
in.
want to play, it's digital only. I don't have a problem. Like, I wish I would have waited for Kana to get physical, but
Mm.
it came out. It was digital only. I bought it and enjoyed it, and then I'm not going to rebuy it for the physical unless I see it cheap. But you know, at the same time, I'm torn because I like the idea of less plastic waste, and it's already happened. Like movies, just look at. I mean, we used to have 4 or 5 family video rental stores just in my small town, our smaller town, medium sized town. We had like 5 or 6 family videos, 2 or 3 blockbusters. All that's gone, and those were just filled with copies of cases. And then when the new movies would come out, they'd get 100 copies of the newest hit movie, like a new like Avengers, if it was back then. If they had rental stores, they'd have like 200 copies of Endgame, and then a year later they'd have like 5 copies, and they just get rid of all, and they throw the cases away. They just keep the disc, and it was just like so much waste. So on one hand, I don't mind that we're getting away from that reliance on plastic for everything, even though there's a lot of new single-use plastic stuff being created every day. We're losing less discs, or we have less plastic that way, but then their Keurig comes out and just completely destroys that. With every cup of coffee is a fucking plastic cup now. So
Yeah.
I don't mind that from that standpoint, but it's the problem. Like, I was just looking through my digital movie library, because every movie I buy, I started entering the codes. I was giving them away like a couple years ago. Then finally I was like, nah, I'm just going to start entering these. I have partial library on Vudu, a partial library on iTunes, and then Movies Everywhere has some kind of. I don't have a complete list on any one platform, because I would. Some you had to use iTunes. Others I did Vudu. I did Google a couple back in the day. That's gone. Google Play's like gone. I mean, it's on YouTube now. And I'm like, where the hell's that movie I downloaded? The Gentleman. Robert gave me the code. I had to it was in iTunes only. It wasn't in Vudu or Movies Anywhere. I'm like, where the hell's The Gentleman? I know I downloaded that. So if I had purchased that movie, I'm like, where the hell is it? It could just disappear. I wouldn't even notice until I went to watch it. And I feel that way about gaming and stuff. Like, I mean, my Switch, they could have already removed like the Samurai Showdown 3 or 4 I purchased at launch and played a few times, and I wouldn't even like know unless I had sought it out to like find it. Like, they could just remove it. Like, it's just gone. It's just out of your
The new
library.
Samurai Showdown?
No, it
Is
was
the new
like
one?
it was a arcade.
Oh,
I don't know
Oh, the
what
old
number
one?
it was. It was like 3, maybe 4, because it got up pretty high, I think, back in the arcade days. It's just an arcade Neo Geo arcade game, and I was like, I haven't looked for that in forever. I don't know if it's still there, but so it's just the lack of ownership.
Yeah.
True ownership is what.
That's my
me.
biggest thing. It's like, I mean, they still make fucking records, vinyl records and shit, right? So I don't need it to have the same presence. I'm not one of those. Everything has to be the exact same it was when I was a kid, and it has to be that way forever. I know shit's gonna change. I'm fine with that. I just think it's a weird position to be in when you're like making fun of physical. Like, because here's the thing: I'm a slippery slope guy. I'm worried about giving all these motherfuckers all this power. Because all these wonderful sales and shit you're enduring right now, when they have complete control of the retail, these publishers, you think you're you still gonna get that same kind of cut? They'll still get those same good sales you get when they don't have to worry about a used marker or a retail presence? I don't think so. I think they'll be doing the Nintendo thing, and everything will stay $60, $70 until they feel like changing it. That's what worries me.
I still think you get Cyberpunk getting dropped to $10 because
I don't know.
Well, actually, they only did that because they had so many. They made so many physical copies in the stores. I mean, Walmart at one point, the whole bottom, it looked like 100 Cyberpunks were there. Right. So yeah,
that's because of physical copies. Right. So when you don't have that, I worry that, I don't have any proof of that, but it just makes sense to me that because they were already charging you the same for a digital game, and they were charging you for a physical game that they have to, they have to put more into. They have to ship it. They have to have the retailer take a cut. And they were charging you $60 or whatever, $70 for the digital version of that same game, even though you're not getting anything with it. So what happens when there's no competition from physical? Are you still going to get those crazy Steam sales? I don't think so. So for some of that stuff you might, but I think for a lot of those games, you don't see the crazy sales. It's like this is the only way you can get it. This is the only way you can get it. And we control the entire market. So you either buy it at this price or don't buy it.
So there needs to be a balance, essentially.
Right. Well, Nintendo, in their investor meeting, he did reconfirm that they're going to carry over your account system. But are the games going to carry over or just your account?
What does that mean?
Are my games right locked to the Switch?
Here's the thing. It's funny because I was just talking about people defending shit. Like, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So it was on Twitter, and people were talking about this. Like, and somebody who's prominent in the Nintendo community was like, of course, they've been saying this, blah, 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 forever. And I'm like, bitch, Nintendo doesn't have the best track record on this kind of stuff. So it's okay for you to question this shit, okay? Just to act like, oh, no, of course they're doing this. They've already said that don't mean shit until we actually see it. Yeah. Because at one time, the GameCube was getting DVDs. Remember that shit? Yeah, okay. And it didn't happen, did it? So
the problem is also we don't know in what context it transferred. They can see, oh yeah, your Nintendo name account transferred.
Yeah, exactly.
Your coins
exactly.
Who knows if anything else you bought before is going to be there? It's like you said, you don't know with Nintendo. For example, like on this account, remember Clark that he couldn't even get his fucking Animal Crossing iron back on this own account. Oh man,
I almost forgot about that.
So you're gonna think like all that's just gonna safely transfer over. It's like we'll see it when it happens,
Right. All of a sudden, Nintendo. Right. That's what I don't like. All of a sudden, Nintendo is gonna completely change, and they're gonna be up to date on all this stuff, and you have no worries. No, I'll believe it when I see it. I want that to be the case.
Yeah. It's the same thing. The comment I made about Xbox earlier, but with Nintendo, it's with their online account systems and shit. Mm-hmm. You have to earn that trust before I'm just like, oh, okay. Right. Like how now, when people talk about the next Xbox system, no one's worrying about the account transferring over. We already fucking know what's about to happen. It's going to transfer over. We'll have all our stuff. Like but that's because they earn that level of faith, if that makes sense.
Right. And Bryson Grunt has a great point. Bryson Grunt says, suddenly those who were against account systems from Wii U days and people were upset it wasn't moved to the Switch, now saying account systems is cool. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's very true. Don't worry, Xbox ain't the only people who moved the goalposts.
Oh, of course not. Every fan base does that shit.
it's easy anyway to say that because we've been saying that for like 3 generations almost. If only all our like virtual console games transfer over. But you don't even have that anymore anyway. It's easy to transfer it over. There are no virtual console games anymore. You can go in the online library to see what's there and shit.
Yeah,
and I'll just wait and see if all that shit is going to be there on the next system.
Right.
Well, people need to be real about it. Like, Nintendo has reset their account system like 3 fucking times.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, what was it? The Wii, then the Wii U, and then the fucking, and now we're on the Switch. So this is our 3rd iteration, and that's if you don't count the things like the 3DS,
Right.
That technically is supposed to have its own joint account system, and we see how that fucking went.
Right.
Like,
hence why people are, a little
concerned.
That's
like,
the point.
Like, am I about to get hold again? Are you about to go and re-release Borderlands 1 and 2 collection again on Switch 2?
Right.
Because you played it on Switch, but since the shit didn't carry over,
right,
buy it again, $60, bitch.
So don't run out there acting like there's nothing to worry about. Nintendo said blah blah blah. Please, come on, man. You should you know better than that. You should know better than that. Come on.
No, but say
I can't read that. It's fat mirrored. You ever
No,
see
it
this
wasn't
movie,
there.
T?
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic
Where does
Mr.
this come
Fox.
from?
Oh yeah. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I don't know. Something made me think of that movie where something you were talking about.
Oh,
Made me think of that
Cool.
movie.
Huh.
I just had a sudden image of a fox in my head while you're talking. I don't know.
Oh! It took me a minute. I'm so sorry.
This is. I just watched Isle of Dogs the other day.
I'm about to get up.
I love
Nice.
this
I'm about to
movie.
get up. Listen, listen, we can't. Listen, you better cut this out, bro. I'm gonna feel like a shadow of my former self. I'm about done with you, bro.
It came with a digital copy disc.
man.
Talk about a waste of plastic before you had to just download a
Oh
code.
my goodness. I'm so done right now, bro. I hate all of that.
glorious. That's fucking glorious, isn't it?
I'm mad that it took me longer than it should have for me to get the joke. I was like, fuck me, I'm stupid.
It's all right.
Good God.
Anyway, Twisted
I
Metal
always thought you
TV.
would have pulled out like Star Fox and Shadow of the Colossus or something. I don't know.
I could have. What do you think of that Twisted Metal trailer? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it. The show?
I saw it.
I saw it.
I don't know how I feel about Anthony Mackie as like a wise ass comedic character. I don't know. I don't know if that's right for him.
I think he can do it, but I just got to get used to it. That's the difference.
Yeah, because he usually plays like a stoic, like well-spoken, like guy you
I
trust.
I think I'm willing to give him a chance.
Did you see him as Tupac in the Notorious movie?
No.
Oh,
That was some embarrassing wisecracking shit going on in that movie.
I will say it looks about
Tupac,
as
he
good
was
as...
not.
that was such a weird.
To me, the Twisted Metal looks about as good as the Halo series, so that's how I felt about it.
I mean, Twisted Metal is allowed to be a little bit more like ridiculous and goofy.
It just
Halo,
looked super
Yeah, I'm
low
not worried about
budget.
Twisted Metal, what's the story?
No, I know.
Bunch of fucking
I'm
weirdos.
just saying,
or...
it just looks like it has
Yeah.
about the production value of the Halo series.
Don't compare it to Halo though, because that is a solid story, sci-fi storyline based video game, and then they fucking pull their pants down and shit on the audience with the show. So,
But there's a season of a show out right now on sci-fi a few years back called Blood Drive, featuring the dude who plays Reacher. And that was a over-the-top, ridiculous, like, cars, like, the engines needed humans to eat, for fuel. It was over-the-top ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that was actually pretty good.
all you got to do is like Death Race, Death Race movies.
The premise
maybe add a
they
little
came
bit
up
more
with
spice.
ain't bad. Like, their cities are walled off, and they need people to transport stuff in between the cities, and it's like that's where all the Mad Max
That
shit
works for me.
happens.
That works.
But I don't know, the tone didn't really grip
It's
me.
too clean and too goofy. Then I don't know about that.
Look
I mean, when you
little
look
silly.
at the characters
How did it
you
look
had in the
visually?
game, like what else are you gonna
I
do
feel
with
like
it with keeping the
it looked
characters?
like
in there?
it
like
could have been grittier.
it looked like
They didn't look-
home
It has to be
video.
gritty.
It looks home
It looks-
video-ish. Like,
Oh
It,
no!
it doesn't
me.
look as
it doesn't look cinematic. in
It
my
doesn't look
opinion.
as gritty as I would have liked it to.
It has to be ugly. It has to be Escape from New York and shit.
No,
I ain't gonna
it's
play it
not.
on here because
It's not ugly. It's just
Oh.
it's kind of just like I think Juice nailed it, like low budget.
and if that's what
So-
you're going for, but it just doesn't look.
I mean,
like
it's not a bad. It's not a
Let me
bad
rewatch it. I
style.
watched it on my phone. Right? Let me watch it on the.
I liked what I saw from the trailer. I mean, I
No,
used
it's
to
not
love
bad. It's
those
not a
games.
bad
I'm gonna
trailer.
rewatch it
I
right
think
now.
how much are you gonna do with like the car combat stuff? You know, like Twisted Metal, Vigilante 8. Those are fucking incredible games. So I'm excited to see like what they do with his show. When I look
You
at the
saw,
trailer, I see different characters in the car combat. Like that's all I really need. You know.
You saw the Z show, right? T, the zombie. What was that called? Z Nation.
Oh, Z Nation, yeah.
It reminds me of Z Nation from
Oh,
the cinematography.
Yeah.
It just looks like
there's some things I like about Z Nation. But
yeah, but is that
visually
Netflix?
is not one of them. It's not. Visually is not one of the things I like about it.
Yeah. It doesn't have like that cinematic look. That's all I'm saying. It might work to it.
Well, it is a show, right? It's a
It
show.
feels
right?
like a show. It feels like a CIS Miami type, the way it's filmed.
Yeah.
I like the girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine though. She's pretty funny in that show.
Motherfucker, eat shit.
So it might be good.
Yeah.
I don't. It's on Peacock and they just switched everything to premium, so I might not be able to watch it anyway.
I hope it's better than Uncharted. Ugh. That was a movie, though.
Yeah, I just that was on Netflix. I still don't want to watch it. I have no interest in watching that movie.
I think it might be fine for somebody who has no idea what the movie or the games are. It might just be fine.
Yeah,
But that's a problem too. But it's just fine. But for
I'm
a
sick of
person
fine.
who loves the games, well, I'm just saying that it's Netflix fodder,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Like yeah.
It's something you'd watch if you got to kill 2 hours and you're just
Mhm.
already on Netflix or something. But it might be good in that regard, like the old.
I'm gonna get up and go to the movies and watch that shit.
No.
You're talking about the Uncharted movie?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just probably really easy to please, but I like that
Oh,
movie.
Jesus fucking
Apart
Christ.
from the fact that I hated how the characters look like than what they are, it felt like Uncharted to me. I liked it.
Anything with what's his face, I'm not interested in. From Spider-Man to that, I haven't. They could put him in. Like, I'm so glad he wasn't cast in like Dune or something. Like, the guy just to me just doesn't have it for me. I forget his
He's talking about
Spider-Man. What's his
Tom
name?
Holland.
Tom Holland. Seems like a nice dude. To me, I haven't seen him in anything I felt like was. He should have been a great Peter Parker, and with the right script, he probably would have been.
He's a great Peter Parker.
Yeah,
But
you just don't like him.
I just can't stand like
He's my favorite Peter Parker.
the Iron Man
Ooh,
aspect of it.
I guess I actually probably would low-key agree with that actually.
I don't think
It's close.
I
Who's
think
number two?
He's in that too. He's in that too.
Live action. Live action. Who's number two?
I think Tobey Maguire is.
Maguire. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, Andrew Garfield has a really good Spider-Man. Like
He's
really
a great
good
Spider-Man.
Yeah, his Peter, he's too
Peter
cool.
Parker. He's
His
too
Peter
he's too
Parker's
good looking and
terrible.
cool to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
That's
too,
why I love them, man.
he's too
God,
cool as a Peter Parker.
You're on a
That's
roll
why
there.
I love them.
Retro's on a roll with things he loves. That
I
are,
love
Because
that. What?
he
You
felt
love the
like
fact that he was
classic.
nothing like Peter Parker? I don't
He
understand.
felt like Peter Parker when he's taken over by the symbiote, just cool and shit. And it's because you gotta be different, you know. You had like all
but the
other
problem
people
was,
before
is he
that.
tried
The
to act
guy's a fucking
awkward,
underwear model. He's no fucking Peter Parker.
and he tried
Get
to
the
act.
fuck outta
He
here.
was trying to be awkward. Like
Yeah,
they tried
he
to
was
write
trying
him.
to be
It
awkward.
didn't work. He doesn't work
No.
as awkward. And then he's
No,
He's
kissing
a
her.
great
Like,
actor.
he's kissing her so quick into the movie. Like, oh, he's that awkward and stuff. Yet he's
Yeah,
just, it didn't work.
he has the swag of Spider-Man, but like all
And
the
then
fucking
that
time.
basketball scene where he dunks. Like, come on.
Yeah, like he's
Oh, that was
so
so,
stupid.
embarrassing.
now considering where the movies end up, like to me, No Way Home kind of frames him in a way I fuck with, which is like
Oh.
a failed Spider-Man where he's
I
like
love him. Yeah.
he's like he got too angry and too aggressive, and he like I like the directions all three of them took. Like Toby had like this very mature, like I grew up and I learned from my mistakes. Andrew just went down a dark path and he's just
Going
now
down a dark
trying to
path.
recover from
But that's
it.
why I
Yeah.
like because like the arrogance he has as Peter Parker worked against him, and that's why I like it. That's why he works so good in in the last one because he got to like redeem himself from that. That
But
makes
yeah.
it so good.
No, yeah, definitely. But the problem is that in his original movies, before any of that other shit happened,
Right.
he doesn't really feel like a strong Peter Parker.
No.
A really good. I like his Spider-Man a lot, but his Peter Parker's weak as fuck.
You know
It's
why
like-
you can see that? Because when you have like the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire, and because I like the third movie, it's one of my favorites.
I think it's
but when
actually really funny.
he gets possessed by the symbiote and he's trying to act cool, he looks like a doofus. He's not cool when he's acting cool.
Well, that's because
And
that's the whole
why
point.
I like Andrew
But
Garfield.
Tobey Maguire.
You missed
He's
the
not
point.
cool.
He's not
That's
cool,
what I'm
but
saying.
he's acting cool, which made it fucking hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, like Tobey
He
Maguire.
wasn't actually supposed to be cool. You weren't supposed to actually think he's cool.
Yeah, people were looking at him like, "What the fuck are you doing, you dumbass?"
Yeah.
Look at this wank.
Tobey Maguire is the opposite. He has a really good Peter Parker, but his Spider-Man doesn't hit the same way because his Spider-Man. It's almost like supposed to be like almost a different personality entirely sometimes. And Toby doesn't really hit that confidence the same way as Andrew does.
Right.
Which is why most people say Tom Holland's like a good balance of both.
He's a good balance of both.
Except,
But unfortunately for him,
Unfortunately, I don't like his movies as much.
no.
yeah, but I'm saying he has to me his best movie is No Way Home,
Yeah.
and it's
He's
because
the Pierce Brosnan of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love fucking Pierce Brosnan
Damn.
I love him as James Bond. He has the worst goddamn movies of all.
So I rewatched.
Except for GoldenEye, which is a classic.
I rewatched
his
all
other
4
movies
of his recently.
I'm not the best.
Isn't he also Thomas Crown though?
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan. Is
Yeah.
that Thomas Crown.
Oh yeah,
I like that
I
movie.
love that movie. I love
So
that movie.
rewatching the Bond,
They're remaking that too, by the way. Ugh.
the Brosnan Bond movies in the last month, I rewatched all 4. Tomorrow Never Dies.
I like Tomorrow Never Dies. I
was
do like
okay.
it.
I didn't care for the villain. The World Is Not Enough for whatever reason. I was like, man, this has some really good Bond movie stuff. Yeah, it had some bad stuff too. But
I do admit.
I was like, this is actually a really good Bond story.
It's better than I remember it.
It was way
but
better than I remembered. And
It's brought down by Christmas Jones, or where the fuck.
I mean, I guess
It's so brought down by Rich. What's her name?
Chris
what's her name?
Richard something.
Yeah, you don't know.
Something
Christina
Richards.
Richards?
Not Christina.
Whatever.
But besides her, I thought it was a really good Bond movie. Actually, I mean,
It
it's
was.
second best to GoldenEye overall.
Because I rewatched it recently as well, and I was like, "Oh, this is a lot better than I
Tomorrow
remember
Never
it
Dies. Not Tomorrow Never Dies.
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day started
Oh.
off decent, and then it just turned to shit when they got to the ice hotel.
It turned into my least favorite Bond movies, which were the Roger Moore ones. Those
I
bitches are
didn't
too
care for
goofy for
those.
me.
I like
they're too
Timothy
goofy.
Dalton's 2 movies enough to
Yeah.
like. But anyway, I also watched Spider-Man 3 recently, and I laughed my ass off. I wouldn't say I loved the movie, but I had a great
You're not
time.
invested anymore. That's why.
I thought it was hilarious.
You could just enjoy
man.
it.
I don't know
You
if
could
they
just
were
enjoy
going
it
for
now.
all that hilarity, but he was an asshole. He was like, it was funny though.
What do they call that? It's like a thing now. The videos, they call it what? What do they call his character in those?
Oh,
Like
Bully
Bully
Maguire.
Maguire?
Bully Maguire.
That's the best thing that come out of Spider-Man 3 was the goddamn Bully Maguire
Yeah.
videos.
I mean, it sucks they
But no,
forced
that
Venom.
stuff is not the problem to me. Like a lot of people point that, oh, he's the emo shit. That's not the problem. The problem is they're shoehorning fucking Venom in
And I would
not
say
giving
Harry
enough,
Osborn.
not giving enough time.
I would
And
say-
Harry Osborn, right? That was just too much.
and that fight
That end
sequence.
fight scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
When the news reporter is just narrating what's happening. I'm like, this shit is the
even
laziest shit I've ever
the
seen.
first scene with Spider-Man and Harry fighting with his snowboard style.
Yeah,
that
it
was
felt-
really poorly shot, and that did not.
It felt
age well.
terrible.
He gets like
It didn't feel good.
clothesline, and like he should be dead. But
Yeah,
other-
even the first time I saw it in theaters, I was like, this is whack.
welcome to the movie podcast.
Seriously.
There's just like I said in the beginning before you guys are. I'm so content with Tears of the Kingdom, and I liked the ending. But I'm still playing it here and there, and I'm just like I'm satisfied. Like for gaming,
How many hours?
170.
Oh shit.
And
That's about what you did for Breath of the Wild, isn't it?
I had it beat by 100 hours on Breath of the Wild, or even 90, I
Oh.
think. But then I went back
Really?
and got all the shrines afterwards. So this time I did almost everything beforehand. and I still have. I did 86 out of 139 side quests. So I have like almost 50 quests I couldn't even find like where to even begin them. So I don't know if those are all missed. I can't, or if there's still some I can find. I don't know. I did all the. I had two. I'm missing 2 side adventures. I did all the shrine quests, and only two short on the side adventures.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not gonna do about all that stuff. I'll tell you that shit right now. I might knock out 100 shrines tops.
I don't know. It's just
I don't
something
have it. I don't have
satisfying.
it in me for this game. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I just find it very satisfying to find a shrine. They're so quick and easy. There's only a couple where I even had to use my brain a little bit, and those ones were great. But also,
See,
I don't mind the quick one. It's over in a minute.
I just remember like my son, because he's my barometer. Because I'm like, whatever. I don't. So I wasn't letting him know how I felt about the game or anything. So I wanted to see what he was thinking. And because I remember him on Breath of the Wild, he was just every other day, oh my dad did this and dad that, oh this is cool and that, and I figured this out, and he was just all in. It could just be he's 6 years older now, not really, because he didn't start really playing it until 2018ish or so, 2019 maybe. So he's 4 years older, and when you're that young, 4 years is a lot, right? So I asked him, I was like, so what are you thinking? Because he wasn't coming up to me like it was with Breath of the Wild saying this and that. He was like, I don't know. Something's just off with this game. It's not the same. Like, I felt this is what he's telling me. I tried my best to not influence him at all when it comes to his gaming and stuff. Because if I did, he'd be playing way better shit than he plays. But he's like, yeah, I don't know. Something's off. It's not as exciting. Like it feels like a lot of busy work, and I was like, "Wow." He was telling me he felt there was a lot of busy work in this game, and it just didn't. He said to me, it just doesn't flow as well as Breath of the Wild
we
was.
talked about how
wasn't
there's
as,
too much stuff in the game. It's all.
I was just surprised to
optional.
hear him say that. Like,
I personally,
I guess
right now, my stance is it's better than Breath of the Wild in every single way, except for the fact that it revolutionized Zelda. That's the only
right.
thing
I feel that
do.
way too, but I still prefer this point Breath of the Wild. It's like Majora's Mask, right? Where technically Majora's Mask was pretty much better in every way, except for maybe you could say I like the dungeons better in Ocarina of Time. But technically all this stuff, it did better. It did things better. The story was darker. The story was more meaningful, I guess you could say. But I still always preferred Ocarina of Time because I felt like it flowed better and it did everything, and then Majora's Mask built off of that. And I think that's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. Like Breath of the Wild was a revolutionary, did everything. And then Tears of the Kingdom just kind of expanded on a lot of that stuff and fixed, certain things that Breath of the Wild, or that Ocarina of Time probably couldn't do because they were in discovery phase. Like, oh, we can do this, so we can do that. Because if you remember Ocarina of Time, when it first started, it was gonna be what Super Mario 64 is, which is says, here's the castle, and you go through paintings to get to the different world. That's how, that's why it was built on the Mario 64 engine. But over time, they realized they could do more things, and we can actually have a whole world and have everything connected to that world instead of having a castle and everything connected. Because that's why a remnant of that is the Phantom Ganon fight in the temple, the what do you call it? The Forest Temple, right? That is a remnant of what the game was gonna be, which is the whole painting thing. You go through the paintings like you do in Mario 64, and then they evolved beyond that. So that's what Tears of the Kingdom is.
I still feel like Breath of the Wild, the shrines, I'd say overall were way better because there were shrines.
Oh, he said that too, because I was feeling that the shrines were better in Tears of the Kingdom at first, but then the more I played, I'm like, that shrine was kind of weak.
They never got deep. There was a couple that had some really cool, clever puzzles to solve.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was like two simple things to figure out, and you're done. If you want to find
Yeah.
the chest, you can. Otherwise, you're there. And I think they did it to try to just make it less of a chore for people. And there's
And then again, my sample size is much smaller. I've only beaten 2 temples. I beat Wind and Fire. Fire I liked better.
I like the boss.
And I'll just say that.
The whole shrine thing, because you said that is like less of a chore, but I feel the shrines have become such a fucking chore. Because like I said,
I feel like they're a chore.
the shrines in Breath of the Wild are still probably like my favorite thing in video gaming ever. The way they look, the way they sound, the way there's so many different ways to solve the riddles. And I feel now when you have a riddle, there's usually only like one way of solving them. And on top of that, so many of them. I want to see the numbers of them.
I disagree with that.
So many are the stupid, like fucking naked ones, and those are a fucking chore to do. Every goddamn time, I'm afraid to walk. That's why I still have like 15
hearts.
shrines untouched. Because every time I'm afraid I walk in, he's gonna walk in his fucking underwear. I'm gonna be like, great.
How do you get more hearts?
They get more hearts. No, but
Yeah,
you can.
No. I'm saying Juice says you got to get more hearts if you're dying.
Those are like,
I'm saying to him, how do you get more hearts?
so
Like going to more fucking shrines.
I would say
That's how you
my
get more
guess
hearts.
out of the 152 shrines, I would guess maybe 20 are the naked ones. Maybe.
Then
That's
I
a
probably
lot.
have very bad luck that I get so many in a row. It feels
that.
like more of them.
I'm to the
Well,
point where I just blast through them. I think there was 2 I encountered in the entire playthrough that I died multiple times. I just this is easy. I just get their weapon.
Yeah, well,
they
that's the
weren't
thing.
fun. That's the thing. They weren't a chore. They
That's
just weren't
exactly.
that. They just
Yeah,
were.
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Me and my
It's like,
my
great,
son was
another one of
watching
those
me
again.
go through one. I can't remember which one it was, and I just totally cheesed it. And he was just laughing. He was like, "This is this is a joke." That's
Because the first
your
ones
premise for a
made
shrine.
you had to use your abilities, and there's not too many situations where you have to really think. Like the first, you had the one where you had to hang like a hook, get a ball down in multiple stages, and then there was one where you had to like twist an object to get it through a wall, so you could make it like something to climb up. I'm like, oh, this is cool
exactly.
stuff.
You have those, and you had, for example, one where you had to put like a ball on a thing, and you use the reverse thing. That's what I mean. A lot of the puzzles have one very specific solution, and Breath of the Wild just didn't have that. You have people that are still finding new ways to beat all these shrines and shit in Breath of the Wild. And I feel this Tears of the Kingdom doesn't do that. Apart from that, the game is absolutely better in every single way. I love it way more. It's great. But it's like what he said, what his son says, that's true, because Breath of the Wild was more about a traversal, and everybody was like, oh, this world is so empty and stuff. It's like, you're not playing the game right. Whereas this one, they put so much shit in there. It's like you're heading towards Goron Mountain. You're ending in the fucking like desert and shit. It's like there's too much fucking shit.
Yeah, there's so much shit along the way. I'm like, oh, what the fuck was I doing?
I
Like
mean,
every
that happened in
character
Breath
you
of the
meet has
Wild
a
too.
side quest.
That happened in Breath of the Wild too, where it's like, oh, I'm going towards something, and then I got sidetracked by something else. But it's the extent of it happening, and in this game is just bonkers to where I forget what my fucking task was to begin with. Why I was running over there. I was like, oh fuck, I can't remember now.
I will say I went through a long stretch in the depths where I just made the hover bike, and I got all the light routes pretty simply. That diminished the experience of trying to but it also got rid of the annoyance of hitting a fucking wall and like, oh, where the hell do I go? Now I'm just like,
that's the thing though, right? When I was talking about cheesing it, it's like, well, if I can just cheese it, it kind of loses a little bit of luster, when I can just cheese through something.
So for me, it just became about getting all the light routes, trying to find all
that's
the
what
gear.
I had to do. You have to make it a job at this one. That's what I'm like. I'm going to go to the fucking depths, and I'm going to wreck the depths, and that's what I'm going to do until I finish it. That's my plan now. And once I do that, then I'll explore the rest of the game.
But I enjoyed it because you get some really cool retro costumes down there, and I was like, man, I got some. I would have never guessed. I would have went with the original OG Link boots, like shorts, so short his tunic's longer, and like that, and the hairstyle from the original box art. And I'm like, once I got it,
I saw that, and I was like, that looks cool. I want
except
that.
for every time it was raining, and they needed to climb, I would switch to the frog suit, or if I was skydiving, I switched to the skydiving suit. And I'm like, I'm just switching outfits constantly. Oh, I'm gonna fight something. Let me switch to the barbarian. It's like I felt like that was kind of more tedious, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. To me, I got hooked on the completion aspect of the shrines. Yeah, not all the shrines were great, but
I mean, that's gonna happen. They're not all gonna be great.
the ones that were great, there was a handful that stood out. I wish there was more that good. I didn't think any of the. I thought the water temple was the only like great temple, but it wasn't technically a temple. But it was all riddle based. The whole like the start of the in Zoro's domain, the start is a riddle that you have to solve, and it's not like an easy riddle. There's like some really clever stuff you have to figure out, and I just really love that.
I like the fire temple. I was expecting it to be
so good.
more complicated than it was. It was a lot more simple. And I don't know if it's just me than I was hoping for, but I did enjoy it, and I liked the boss battle. I thought that was a pretty good boss battle.
The whole trip to the fire temple, from the moment you see it, it's so fucking good. The music inside, it's goddamn art.
And the funny thing is, the music featured divine beasts growling or howling. I don't know if you caught that, but I was going to say something. I wanted Retro to say you loved that music first because it had the divine beasts. Like every time you moved the divine beast.
Because the thing about the fire temple is also, I feel like the music kept changing. It kept evolving. I think with every key, the music kind of changed because it started out with like the original kind of like chanting, like what Ocarina of Time did and stuff. And then like it kept like evolving and adding more instruments to it and shit.
I got to say, I got about half hour in. I was pretty bored of switching mine carts around and going the other way and trying to. I just started.
Really, I went through it so quickly it didn't even bother me.
I got the rocket shield and I started just. I gotta go here.
But that's the beauty of it. You can do it.
But I didn't have a lot of fun doing it. I just thought it was whatever. Like I didn't care for the whole minecart thing. Like it's like it was. It should have been more clever than it was. It was more just cumbersome.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I said. I mean I don't think it was cumbersome, but I felt like it was not as.
Just every time the track ended, then you have to carry it, flip it around, put it on the other track, or switch the track. I don't know. I didn't care for it that much, but the boss was great. So.
I might have done that like 4 times.
Really? I spent like an hour. I was trying to make.
Really?
I was trying to make it more of what it probably was trying to be.
Yeah, you're probably thinking too deeply about it. I went through that shit like, oh, this is very simple, and then to have the, what do you call it? The swimming through ability. Or what's that shit called? The
ascent.
The ascent. That shit just made it super easy, and that fucking ability just breaks the goddamn game. If you ask me, it breaks it. So,
but overall, I think I would put it down as the better experience overall. Tears of the Kingdom for me. Not as revolutionary.
Once I finish it, I can look back on it.
I really liked. I started going in the sky more. I really enjoyed going. Not that there was much to do. I had pretty much all the shrines and stuff relatively easily in the sky, but just the trying to farm resources off the dragons and building vehicles once you get enough battery power to like fly for a decent amount. It's beautiful up there.
Breath of the Wild created like kind of this world, and the thing I like about Tears of the Kingdom is that there's events everywhere, like that's why you have the temples. Like you go to the Gorons and shit is fucking happening, you go to the Zoras, the whole thing, everything is affected. And I feel like it creates bigger stories and shit. Like I just entered like the desert for the first time, and like I don't even want to say it for people who haven't been there, but that fucking blew my mind. The shit going on there when you see it happening and stuff, like it's absolutely insane. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, like, oh, it's a desert, open world Zelda desert, looks kind of cool. But Tears of the Kingdom is like, fuck, like all over your face and shit. It's so good.
Well, here's my problem. Here's my biggest thing is that I spent so many hours, almost 300 hours in Breath of the Wild. I care not to fight creatures that I fought in Breath. Like if I see a Hinox, I keep it moving. I don't care.
I stopped fighting
Moldugos. I don't give a shit about your Molduga. Like I don't care because I played that game so much. I don't care about those creatures that I'm already used to just because they have a different horn on their head. That's not enough.
I will say
to move me to care about them.
They definitely made the difficulty harder.
Bills, juice.
Hey, what's up? We got
definitely harder.
$10 donation from this.
Oh snap!
This chump in Atlanta goes by the name Matt, home theater dude. And thanks, man. Appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. We've been chatting a lot, home theater stuff, and finally trying to get him to watch some more movies because he ain't got a lot of time. So he watched Alita: Battle Angel yesterday, and
Nice.
That was so fucking good.
I think it gets better every time I watch it. It's the first time I thought it was okay, and then I've liked it more and more. I don't know. Try to get Terrell to watch. I don't know if you ever did back then. I think I gave you the code for that.
You haven't watched Alita yet? Shameful.
Terrell?
I think he probably zoned out for the Zelda shit.
So I did. I actually did. What happened?
Did you ever watch Alita: Battle Angel?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I liked it. I liked it.
Of course you did.
Yeah. Actually, I think I saw that in theaters. Actually,
did you?
I don't know if I did. I remember going to theaters and watching it.
Oh,
I liked
shit.
it.
So I guess you were wrong, Juice.
Yeah, it must have been a different movie I gave you the code for and tried to get you to watch.
Yes, and I don't remember what the movie was. But yeah, Alita, I watched it. It was I enjoyed it.
It was Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I hate how close of a fucking accurate that might be. Because God, it's not. It's all right. I can't. I think that's where I was at with it by the end of it. I liked some shit in it, but overall, I was kind of like, yeah, it's all right. It's fine.
Which one? Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Robert has that high in his list of MCU movies, and he's only watched it the one time. I was like, dude, you cannot.
It's the weakest Avengers movie.
The only redeeming factor is Spader's Ultron. The rest is all absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah. It's the weak. It's like one of the weakest.
My buddy tried to give me the 3D version. I was like, nah, I don't want it.
You didn't like that big stupid ending where they destroyed everything and the same shit that DC guys hated on for. They destroyed and killed everybody.
The Hulkbuster.
Hulkbuster killing people in the beginning of the movie and
just
all that shit
whole
that
city.
people were crying about when it came to the DC movies. They had no problem with in Age of Ultron. I just thought that was hilarious.
So one of the things that in the home theater community that is disappointing for me is how much the MCU used not so much the last couple years, but back in its peak, that's all you heard about was MCU this. And the thing is they have like some of the worst sound mixes of any movie. Like they're known, they call it instead of Dolby Atmos, it's called the Dolby Atmouse, because Disney has this tendency to go cheap, put it on the smaller discs, and not give a lot of time to the home mix. Like one dude who worked for them said he got like a day to do the home mix down from the theater mix, and they just banged it out and done. Anyway, finally, because MCU's taken such a hit, you don't have to hear about it anymore because no one talks about it. But that really bugged me because I'm just like, there's so much better movies to be talking about with better sound and video quality from a home theater standpoint. And even like the TV shows, like when WandaVision and then the Winter Soldier, Falcon the Winter Soldier, it was getting pretty hyped up, and I'm like, I'm out. I can't. There's a lot of some great films out there to be watched on these nice home theaters. Not this.
Those were pretty good shows, though.
Those ones might have been all right. I didn't see them.
Yeah.
But... Winter Soldier, I feel like that one kind of fucks up a lot towards the end of it.
Yeah, it started off pretty well.
It did. I would agree.
The Star Wars stuff, like it's still people getting excited over.
I lost all excitement for anything.
Mandalorian season 3, like
nope. Season 3 was
I didn't watch a single Star Wars series. I didn't watch a single MCU series. None of it.
Like if you want to watch a good Marvel series, watch. I don't know if they're on Netflix anymore, but like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and
those were fucking good.
Iron Fist was okay. That was, but
no, don't say that.
It was okay, but compared to the Marvel movies, I think it was great. Or the Marvel shows, I think it was good in comparison. But
the first season of Jessica Jones specifically, man, that was so
even the third
good.
season was really good.
They had $50 per episode to make them shows, man. That was probably the biggest problem with Iron Fist. They had no goddamn money.
No, you could tell. But I had a huge crush on girl who played Colleen.
The chick, yeah, she was in
Stunning.
she was the best part of
Matrix.
the new Matrix movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Daredevil. Yeah, did I say Daredevil? I meant to. If I did.
Daredevil was the show.
Punisher was good.
Punisher, the first season.
Mm-hmm. So
the reveal of Jigsaw, not so much.
No, they kind of and the funny thing is that dude played another character with scars on his face in the Shadow and Bone series that on Netflix that got.
Yeah, that's right.
But
why are you taking this pretty boy and cutting his face up?
They were smart enough to cancel to wrap that up after 2 seasons. That was some of the worst writing I've seen in a long time. But yeah, Luke Cage. They're on Disney Plus.
I love Jessica Jones. I think it's probably the most underrated one.
I watched an interview with her. Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville. He has a really good podcast interview show on YouTube, and he does a lot of CW people who worked on CW shows and stuff. But he had her, he had Marina Baccarin.
Jessica Jones season 1 is some of the best TV I've seen on TV, not just Marvel or any kind of superhero show. It's just because it's so like psychological trauma and all that stuff they deals with. Fucking amazing.
The main reason I watched it was because of David Tennant.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
She's great. Season 3 I thought was close to season 1 actually, and
season 3 was actually really good too. Yeah.
So good stuff. But anyway, not a lot of video game discussion tonight, but
there wasn't a lot to talk about.
Not a whole lot. We're in the summer right now.
BattleBits, baby. BattleBits is the new hot thing.
BattleBits.
You know what's interesting? All the big praise.
Terrell's like, what?
All
what
the big.
What the fuck is that?
You never heard of it? It sold like 2 million copies in 2 weeks.
Hottest thing out right now, bro. How you not know what
BattleBits 3
BattleBits
people
is?
made it, and it made 27 million in 2 weeks.
What is this shit? Hold on.
And Juice made the joke that maybe
Microsoft is already making the deal.
Going to buy them.
Well, here's the thing: all the biggest games in the last 10 years, like some of the huge big hits. You got Minecraft. You got Among Us, you got Fall Guys.
You're gonna get to my point. Yes.
You got fucking Fortnite, and now you got BattleBits. Every one of them have simplistic visual styles, but compelling gameplay. I'd argue Fortnite wasn't as compelling, but it was fun when we played it. We were having fun.
Yeah, it's like chaotic Call of Duty.
It's BattleBits has some of the tightest looking shooting mechanics. I mean, it looks better than Call of Duty to me.
It looks like Roblox.
But
it does look Roblox.
It looks. I mean, it's a nice. I like.
I'm being simplistic with that comparison, but
why are these companies trying to do all this realistic shit when all the biggest hits are all the most?
Because the children don't care about the realistic shit. That's the audience.
Yeah, that's exactly right. My kids will fucking play Roblox all goddamn day because the shit is fun. There's 1,000, 2,000 games in there that people have built or whatever, and they have a blast playing that shit. They pull me in all the time. I don't have as much of a blast. I like seeing them have fun, but that's what I've been trying to say. As a teacher, I saw on the regular kid, I listen to these podcasts, and all they care about is all these graphics, and does it have the CUDA cores, and does it have the terabytes, and all this shit that none of these kids care about.
This is Battlefield.
I want to put in full context that Juice. When I opened up the Juice of the stream, I'm thinking it's just a picture of the Steam page, and I see this guy's face show up, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, this guy's trying to make a funny edit. I should.
It's a fucking YouTube. So my brain was like, what?
Let me just pick a video that has just gameplay.
Fuck me. Also, it's remastered. So what's the original game?
No, that was a Roblox thing. That was just something else.
Your boy Matt is hooking you up in here, man.
Dude.
This is the most we've made in the last 8 years of this.
Yeah, I just got a payout in May.
Let's go, Matt.
I'll check.
You finally got a payout? Your first payout?
Hey, no, I've had 4 of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had a couple of home theater videos get 10,000 views.
I'm thinking about the podcast specifically.
But I stopped making videos and I got out of the algorithm, and now they don't. Yeah. But this is some tight, solid gameplay. Like, this is fast, of course, mouse and keyboard. Yeah, it's got a simple look to it, but this is like these guys. 3 guys took 6 years to make it, and it's already in 2 weeks They've
They've
already
already
got 18
way
million in
beyond-
their pocket. Well, divided
Yeah.
by 3 minus fees and any kind of
Right.
taxes and
It's
stuff.
still gonna be millions.
And
Right,
that's just 2
millionaires.
weeks. What do you think's
They're
going to
all
happen
millionaires.
a month when this game just
Right.
keeps getting bigger and
It's just
bigger,
gonna
and then it
keep
hits
going.
consoles? It's going to be huge.
My son was talking about it, and if they got that crowd, then the sky is the goddamn limit.
Let me check the chat
So-
They're
here.
gonna get everybody gonna start playing it later. PewDiePie and all that shit. It's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
Probably already.
Yeah.
to be
Dude,
fair, he
20 bucks.
he probably
Already is.
I'm going to have to... He's trying to give me money to buy Diablo 4, probably. That's probably why he's donating.
Why?
That's what I'm saying. I was listening to these podcasts. They're so detached from what people care about and what people are playing, and it's just like nobody. All the what is this shit called? The ray tracing and my console doesn't have the ray tracing yet, and I'm like,
But
I'm
there's
just
the
sitting there
thing.
like,
They could
who gives a shit, bro?
They could
Like,
actually add ray tracing to a game with this graphics, and it'd still have good performance.
yeah, but you get my point. Like,
how many players on? Isn't it like 200 plus in a lobby? 250.
Yeah, it's like 254 from when I saw on the Steam page.
And it's 3 guys made this for 6 years. I don't know if they had regular jobs or if they just took a chance.
I'm sure they did.
They don't.
You
They
can't
don't
work
anymore.
7 years.
I mean,
Yeah,
it looks
not
like
anymore.
what my brain tells me like N64 games look like at times. I mean, but some of the building structures, but it's obviously clean. It's the stream isn't really showing it as good as it is on, because it's down reses it and down to 30 FPS. But I seen
Again,
a
that's
shot.
something that becomes part of the charm. The fact that it looks.
I
like
saw
that.
one. It was like at sunset. I don't know if they had settings turned up high, like right here. Like that look.
Yeah.
That looks, but look
I
how
think
quick.
if it looks like this, but plays like you expect modern shooter to play, that's the charm. Like that's
Yeah,
what's cool about it.
Exactly.
Because you see a lot of this shit, and then Roblox. There's games like this in Roblox, like Call of Duty clones or whatever in Roblox, and they're not very good. Like because there's
Mhm.
Roblox controls, they're not great.
Yeah,
But if you can do this
Look at this
and then
character.
have the tight control,
he's gonna be in Smash next. Smash.
probably.
And they're gonna get so much money.
Well, there's
out of that extra
non-fingers.
Yeah,
stuff.
plus they're gonna do crossover. You know, there's gonna be crossover events
yeah.
with other IPs. This thing's gonna be
I'm
huge.
happy for these dudes. I'm happy for them. That's the kind of shit I like to see, these success stories.
And they said that they would never recommend doing a multiplayer game as your first game because they wanted it to be way more hardcore, but they had to make it more casual friendly because all the feedback.
on N64.
The feedback was like, "Hey, I wish it did this, this, and this," and so they basically had to make it more casual friendly instead, less Counter-Strike, less serious. But
Yeah.
I mean, this looks
And
like it looks
they
like a fun
listened
game.
and it worked out.
I'm not big on the class system of the Battlefield games where you have to roll, where you have a role as like healer and stuff. I would rather just be kind of shooting. But
Yeah.
if this comes to PS5, I'll play it for sure for 15
This is why
bucks.
we've been talking about movies because Xbox has no game, so this is what we're doing now.
Damn.
Nobody had
Is that what we're
PlayStation
doing?
hasn't had a game this year either.
Nobody has no games right now.
Switch had the game of the year, so. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a fun game. Be a fun one for game night. But yeah, thanks for the $19.99, Matt. That's it. No more.
We were talking about Hi-Fi Rush. That's a pretty good game, then, bro.
That's
I just
true.
bought that actually on Steam since it's on sale.
How much is it?
It's like 23. It's nothing crazy, but hey, it's
Oh,
better than
that's great.
spending 29.
$7 cheap.
And I can't get a physical edition.
I know, right?
So I'm like, well, it's like I'm not waiting for nothing.
I would
Pretty sure
literally buy
Xbox
it
didn't
again.
even-
Well, I'd literally buy it if I could get it for.
I think Xbox Pro didn't even know it was gonna do that well. That's why there's no physical and shit. They wouldn't know a good game if Nintendo put some shit on their system.
Well, see, I can agree with that. But at this point, it's like, oh, it's a success. People love it. We're putting it on the disc at some point, guys. Let people know that. Because you're only going to sell
you're
more.
gonna get like the limited run or some shit picking that stuff up before Xbox does it.
Yeah, limited run probably would do it first.
They
But
don't
you
do
shouldn't have to
Xbox.
you shouldn't have to rely on that.
Limited
I think
run
that's
don't
the
I
problem.
know.
Limited Run don't do Xbox.
Why?
They don't. They only do PlayStation and Switch.
Fuck them. That's why.
Nobody
Well,
does
this is an
that.
example. You got like 5 of those companies at this point to do that stuff.
The point is, it's
Super
kind
Rare.
of weird.
Super Rare don't do Xbox either.
Is that because Xbox gamers don't care about physical?
I guess. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they look at the numbers and they can see.
All
Those
you
guys
guys is
will make
playing
fun of
Game
your
Pass.
physical
What
game.
you want a case for?
You buy a physical game, like so why all of them should have Xbox Series S's then, because they don't have a disc drive.
Bro, they be trying to get.
They're not powerful enough. They want to have
Dog,
power.
I've had multiple companies try to give away an Xbox. I think Verizon down here is like pushing their home internet service. They're like, we'll give you a free Xbox One Xbox One S if you
One
if
S?
You,
A One
yeah,
S?
and I was like, what the
One S?
fuck? I'm like,
Fuck outta here.
why?
Hey, I
Why
sold mine
would-
for $300 during the shortage, so I don't think it's worth that now.
It's not.
But I gotta give finally the I don't know when it happened, but the terabyte expansion is finally dropped to 149 for Xbox, so it makes it.
Yeah, it took 2 years, but
The
it
2
happens.
terabyte is 280 though. I don't know where that's.
don't buy that shit.
That's just ridiculous.
Ever.
The Gen 4 M.2s for 2 terabytes like 130 now for a standard.
That's almost the cost of a fucking Series S. Fuck
Yeah.
outta here.
So, but anyway, I think we can get out of here. Maybe my mom's birthday is next week, so next Monday. I don't think I probably won't be able to do the podcast, so we might have to just do every
That might
other.
actually work out because I have a.
Do every other until
Right, yeah,
until we get into
I'll
a
be in the
more.
middle of, I'll be in the middle of driving that day anyway, so it's probably better.
But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Hey Matt, thanks for the donations, but I will not accept anymore. I don't know how to give it back to you if I wanted
Well,
to.
You send them a money order.
Yeah.
Or you got to turn it off then if you don't want donations. Or you mean specifically him?
From
Yeah.
him, yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it. It's not like I got to think
Thank
of
you for
something
the
to
money,
do with
but I
it.
don't
I got to
fucking
think
want
with
it.
something to do for the show.
Go on Steam and
Buy a game and do a giveaway, yeah.
Yeah, or get
Yeah,
a,
I'll do.
I mean,
I'll
yeah.
buy do a giveaway or something, or surprise one of you guys with a game I want you to play or something. But yeah, so we'll get out of here, and we'll be back in a couple weeks probably. So we'll see you then.
Esau.
So I'll fill that void